will be at the end of the season. If Tony comes in, and it will take a few weeks for him to get up to speed, he'll make sure that Brentford will not be in relegation problem. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of the top end of the bottom half of the table, if you know what I mean, Aid, this season. And still, considering how they've been in the last few seasons and going back a lot further in the Championship and League One, it's still incredible to see Brentford in the top flight of English football.
Oh, it is. And it's only because they've lost the last two games, drew a couple in the league before that as well. We're taking the pens at League Two Newport in the League Cup, so there has been some shakiness, and I get that. But I think this is still a side that once they hit their straps and start playing how we know they can and get certain players back, I think that they're definitely going to be all ready. And then somebody like Nathan Collins at the back, I think that's a terrific signing from them to help out at the back. In the absence, you mentioned earlier about not having leaders, Pontus Jansson leaving in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you've got the key there. If they get their injuries back, you know, a first 11 for Brentford when everybody's fit and firing, is at least a mid-table side in the Premier League, but the strength in depth isn't quite there, and I think that's what worries certain Brentford fans. Really poor performance at the weekend, arguably their worst since promotion. And again, I mentioned about Tony, Dalsgaard, Henry, and with Raya and Jensen gone as well. You know, that's some serious senior pros and leadership that's not in the side right now. So the last thing they want is to be going on a losing run, to get knocked out the cup tonight, carry on their losing run because they've lost the last two in the league, and then suddenly they are looking over their shoulders, because it's incredible how suddenly their momentum of either winning or losing can start to snowball, and they don't want that in a losing aspect.
Well, that's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+, begambleaware.org.
The big preview on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Well, here at St James Park, it's Newcastle against Man City, and 8 o'clock kickoff, so the players still warming up and the stand still filling up. Updates from the rest of the third round ties this evening, but let's take you to our commentary, because we're close to kickoff at the G-Tech, where last season Brentford were knocked out at this stage by the team who were then bottom of League Two, Gillingham. Tonight they face Arsenal, who are unbeaten this season. Here's your commentary team on Talksport: former Chelsea and West Ham fullback Scott Minto, alongside Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian. Well, the visit of Arsenal will always provoke happy memories for Brentford fans, wistfully recalling the Bees' Premier League bow and a 2-0 success that marked their arrival back in the elite after a 7-decade absence. Their meteoric rise has continued apace, finishing outside the bottom 7 in their first year up. In the top half in May, that win over the Gunners, one of many red-letter days since their move here from Griffin Park. But so far this season, they have been few and far between. The Bees still waiting for their first home win and conjuring up a performance on Saturday that some seasoned Brentford observers regarded as their worst since promotion. Seldom in the recent past have they had something to prove. Privately, they might feel that's the case now. So even though tonight is the customary exercise in rotation and introduction for many Premier League sides, it isn't for Brentford. Only 2 changes, a chance for a morale-boosting intervention. Nothing in the sort needed for Arsenal. Their unbeaten streak standing at 9. And whilst their team selection's an eloquent reminder of where their priorities lie, Mikel Arteta's coaching schooling came at a club where this competition was very much regarded as being worth the effort. And with this season's League Cup opening up nicely, could they end a 31-year wait for League Cup success? Brentford have Flecken in goal, a back 5 of Roslev, Collins, Jørgensen, Pinnock and Hickey. 3 in midfield of Onyeka, Nørgaard and Janelt. Alan Burmo and Wissa up front. For Arsenal, Ramsdale in goal, White, Tomiyasu, Gabriel and Kivior. Smith-Rowe, Jorginho and Havertz in midfield. Sago Jr. making his debut alongside Nelson and Nketiah up front. And the referee tonight, Peter Banks, who took charge of the last meeting of these two sides at the Emirates back in February. Just waiting for the signal to get this game underway. Brentford in their traditional red and white striped shirts and black shorts. Arsenal's kit, well, let's say less than traditional. Yellow with black tyre marks on it, for want of a better description, and light blue names and numbers. We're underway. And an early touch for Aaron Ramsdale, away to our right-hand side. Arsenal defending the east side of this magnificent new stadium. Brentford, a high ball forward. Roerslev, Wissa helping it on. It should be easy enough for Gabriel, but he stumbled and lost possession. And Brian Mbeumo can bring it forward here down the Brentford right-hand side, down towards the corner flag. He stops, checks back for Roerslev. Roerslev in turn back through the centre circle from Collins. Now Zanke Jørgensen out towards Aaron Hickey, continuing at left back for Brentford in the absence of Rico Henry. And then a crossfield ball down towards the Brentford right-hand side is easily cut out. Nelson goes to ground. This time referee Banks does pull whistle to mouth. Free kick to Arsenal. Delighted to say Scott Minto, man of many clubs alongside me. Scott, interesting looking at the way that Arsenal are lining up. Kivior at left back. Tomiyasu's 5 appearances for Arsenal this season have all been at left back, but he's playing on the right of 2 centre-halves today. Yeah,
it's interesting. He's done that obviously for his country, playing centre-half, so he can play anywhere across the back four. Kivior, of course, on his left foot as well, I think would prefer to be as a centre-half, so it'll be interesting to see whether Brentford try and pinpoint him down the left-hand side. Gabriel already has been weak in one challenge that saw Mbeumo get him down the right-hand side.
And now Visser is flagged offside. Ramsdale coming out, heading the ball away anyway, outside his penalty area. No VAR tonight, incidentally, for this League Cup tie. 4th round draw, both of these sides hoping to be in it, following on the Sports Bar tonight with Adam Catterall and Jermaine Pennant. The draw and your reaction together. Well, what promises to be another thrilling night of Carabao Cup action after an extraordinary one last night. A couple of Premier League sides beaten. Luton going out at Exeter. And Wolves blowing a 2-0 lead at Ipswich. Here's Smith Rowe. Good to see him back in the starting lineup as far as Arsenal are concerned. 499 days since his last start for the Gunners. Making his 100th appearance today. His first ever start actually came in a League Cup tie against Brentford, the only previous meeting of these two sides in this competition, which was 5 years ago. Arsenal won that 3-1. Smith Rowe, the only player who played that night, who's featuring again today. El Neni on the bench this evening, did start that night as well. Arsenal in possession now on the left. The ball laid back for Kivior. And the Gunners just stringing the passes together. Here's Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu just pausing. Has briefly played at centre-half for Arsenal before, never from the start in a game. I remember the last North London derby defeat that Arsenal had. He spent a lot of that game at centre-half after Rob Holding was sent off. Here's Reece Nelson. First Gunner start for him since March. Arsenal 15 outside the penalty area. Jorginho sending it wide out towards Ben White. And Charles Sago Jr. has it now. The youngster making his debut today. What a night for him at just 19. Another product of Arsenal's famed academy. And there he is over on the far touchline, wearing 71. Still quite slightly built, quite wiry. You can tell from here that he's probably still a teenager, but they speak so highly of him. The ball play forward to him now. Half decent touch, just a roll away from him, Hickey, and then Jørgensen able to mop up, and Flecken will be able to clear his lines.
Yeah, do you know what? They've got quite a young front three, really, with Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, and Sago Jr. as well. So it's important that you've got experience at the back. I think the back four, however we talk about who's playing where, and it is Kivior, obviously, at left back. Very experienced. Jorginho, despite the mistake he made at the weekend in the North London derby, incredible experience just sitting in front. So with the likes of Kai Havertz as well, it's a big night for him to try and use this night to say, look, I can be an Arsenal player and I get on the score sheet. But you've got youngsters up there as well. So go and do what we can do, what you've been doing in the academy, and see what happens.
Jorginho playing it aside the penalty area for Eddie Nketiah. And Brentford will be able to get it half clear. Choice of listening for you on the Talksport network tonight. Over on Talksport 2, the live game from Anfield. Already Liverpool 0, Leicester 1. And the Foxes' top scorer, Casey McAteer, has scored inside 3 minutes there. His 5th of the season. Leicester looking for an 11th win in 12 games in all competitions. And they lead at Anfield by a goal to 0. You got the Talksport app. Can easily flick between that game and this one, as again here on the Talksport network we bring you a choice of listening this evening. Here with 5 minutes in, and it's Brentford 0, Arsenal 0. Scott Minto.
Yeah, I mean, not too many chances, well, no real chances from either side, but it's been Arsenal who've been dominating the ball. And, you know, we know that Brentford, when they play against the top teams, they do the five at the back, try and make themselves solid, so they're going to try and counter-attack as much as possible, despite them being at home. But so far at the moment, it's all Arsenal in terms of possession.
Brentford have a throw midway inside Arsenal territory, and a rare sortie into opposition territory. A rare sortie that doesn't last very long, because they take the throw all the way back for Collins inside his own half. But now Roslav will be able to play it forward over the halfway line. Whistle with a little give and go. Roslav, though, plays a more conservative ball back inside the centre circle. Ethan Pinnock playing in the middle of Brentford's three centre halves. And to his left for the experienced Danish international, Mathias Zanke Jørgensen. Long clearance from Flecken, and it's sailed over the head of the bearded Mbermo, and out of play for a throw that Arsenal will take right in front of us in their left-back position with Jakob Kivior. 0-0.
Yeah, Brentford just can't get hold of the ball in midfield at the moment, and obviously just a long ball over the top. It's got to be inch perfect with this Arsenal back four.
Kivior's got it again on halfway. Pass along the halfway line that was easily cut out by Onyeka. He anticipated it but couldn't find his teammate. Back it goes for Ramsdale in all blue this evening, from him to Tomiyasu. Jorginho put under pressure inside his own penalty area, and he's lost it again as he did at the weekend. But Brentford unable to make the most of it, bundling it into a central position, but too close to Ramsdale and away from Visser.
Well, he's so composed, isn't he? Sometimes it's too composed, and he's trying to play out inside the box, and fortunately for him and Arsenal, it didn't result in what happened at the weekend, but it's just got to be careful with that. That's what Brentford are looking to try and do: press high, win the ball back, and create a chance in their own box.
Ramsdale with a long clearance that sails straight out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Brentford right. The semi-finalists in this competition 3 seasons ago, when they lost to Tottenham 2-0 across town from here, and they knocked out 4 Premier League teams that season, ended up getting promoted. Beaten on penalties, as Adrian mentioned earlier, by Gillingham last season as the ball's played inside the penalty area, and it should be 1-0, and it's Reece Nelson, and Brentford making a right hash of that at the back. The loose ball knocked square across the edge of the area, and Reece Nelson, with so much time to capitalise on Jørgensen's mistake, took a touch and side-footed it into the bottom right-hand corner of the net. It's Brentford 0, Arsenal 1.
Oh, it's a horrendous mistake there in the back five by Brentford. You know, as much as the play that Arsenal had, they hadn't really created any chances. The ball fell to Eddie Nketiah, and I thought he was going to try and shoot himself. Really bad pass back. He reads it well, and he plays the ball. And it looked like for a moment that the ball wasn't going to come and reach Reece Nelson, but he actually showed a lot of composure. He waited for the defender to dive in. The ball came off him then. He took the touch, and then it's just 12 yards out, and side-footing it past Flecken, who had absolutely no chance whatsoever. But that is Brentford completely gifting the goal to Arsenal.
Reece Nelson's first Arsenal start since mid-March, and he scores his first goal of the season. The Gunners leading by a goal to nil, a lead that they probably already deserve on the basis of a strong opening 8 minutes or so. And the Arsenal fans over in the top right-hand corner of the ground, as we're looking at it, singing songs of Wembley already. 1-0 they lead, an eminently preventable goal from a Brentford point of view. It's interesting, the team selections tonight. Arsenal making a stack of changes, 8 in all. Brentford only 2. As Brentford work it forward here with Visser, left-hand side of the penalty area, but hangs a very disappointing cross straight out of play. To put more pressure on Brentford if they've hardly made any changes and they still lose against a side that has had a lot of rotation.
Yeah, I'm not surprised them either, though, to be honest with you, Jim. I think Arsenal have the ability in early on in the rounds of the Carabao Cup to make those changes. As I say, they've got, you know, Champions League, obviously FA Cup to come later, in the Premier League as well, where they're already playing catch-up to Manchester City. So no surprises they made lots of changes. In terms of Brentford, no surprises there either, really, because almost they've got so many injuries they can't afford to make many.
Nelson will bring it forward, and Nketiah laying it off. One story today linking Eddie Nketiah with a move to Brentford if the Ivan Toney deal the other way happens in January. Speculation that Nketiah could be involved as part of that as a make-way. Ball laid back by Havertz through the midfield for Jorginho. Jorginho, who's twice been a runner-up in this competition back in his Chelsea days. Now it goes out towards Sago Jr. Back for blonde-haired Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe to Jorginho. Jorginho playing it into the feet of Eddie Nketiah, just dropping back outside the penalty area for a moment. When he does that, Havertz will make a run into almost a false 9 position. Arsenal maintaining possession well. Play back towards Gabriel by Nelson. Kivior has it. Goes back inside his own half, and then the pressure's applied on Gabriel by the pacey Brian and Burmo. But he can find Tomiyasu, and the Japanese international sent it out towards the Arsenal right. Sago Jr. going up for it, beaten by the Scotsman Hickey. Back from him to Flecken. And Flecken's got time to take a second touch and then drive it down towards Ruslev on the Brentford right-hand side. Arsenal leading, courtesy of Reece Nelson's 8th-minute goal here on Talksport, over on Talksport 2. Still Leicester leading at Liverpool 1-0. Kivior with the ball inside the Brentford box. Hickey heads it away and out for the first corner of the night.
A really good play from Arsenal. It's actually Ruslev who should have brought the ball down, and I think that shows exactly the start that they've had so far, Brentford. They haven't got the composure to take that first touch. He's headed it inside. Jorginho read it really well, and a mixture of 1 and 2 touch passing. Got in down the left. It was a good cross. In the end, good defending from Hickey just at the far post. Otherwise, it could have been 2-0.
Scottish League Cup action tonight as well. They're at the quarter-final stage there. Aberdeen leading at Ross County 1-0 through Graham Shinney. Just the 2 goals in the EFL Cup so far tonight. Arsenal have got 1 of them and look for more. Smith Rowe to take this corner, a right-footed away swing, and plenty of air underneath it, heading clear, and Burmo chasing after it, gets there ahead of Smith Rowe. Now the counter-attack is on. Early ball in towards Whistle would cause problems. He does get there, pass a little bit weak, and that allowed Arsenal to get bodies back behind the ball. And then the retreating Nelson is fouled by Janelt. And it'll be a free kick which will be taken by Arsenal in their left-back position. That was Brentford's most promising moment of the game. It's come to nothing. Deadlock broken at Craven Cottage. Dave Rowe.
Fulham 1, Norwich 0. Carlos Vinicius scoring from close range. Free kick chipped in by Willian from the left-hand side towards the far post. Iwobi heading it back across the face of goal, and about 2 yards out, Vinicius there at the far post to poke home. Fulham 1, Norwich 0.
And here at Brentford, Scott Minto is a great opportunity on the counter-attack for Brentford.
Well, that's what they're looking to try and do. Exactly that, counter Arsenal. And the ball from... You have to say from Mbeumo was a little bit behind Visson, and the ball from Visson was a little bit behind Janelt. I didn't actually think it was a foul on Reece Nelson. It was clever from him, from a young lad. He got the nudge, went down. Didn't think it was enough to get a free kick, but that's what Brentford are looking to try and do. Haven't done it enough as yet early in the game.
Gabriel hooks the ball forward. That looked like a shot from Nketiah on Ruslev. It was a free kick to Brentford. They've taken it quickly. A goal at Ewood Park as well. Matt Jones.
And it's the hosts who've got it. Blackburn 1, Cardiff 0. Jake Garrett, who scored in the opening 2 rounds, running onto a delightful ball over the top and slotting through Runnison, who should have done better. Blackburn 1, Cardiff 0.
Yeah, third of the season for Garrett, and they've all come in this competition. Flecken getting the ball clear from our left-hand side. Too much on that. Sailing over Mbeumo's head and through to Ramsdale. It takes a touch, works it inside his own penalty area, plays it out for Jorginho. Arsenal coming here having won 3 of the last 4 games in all competitions, unbeaten in 9 this season. Brentford without a win in 5, 2 defeats in a row. They win their last 3 home games of last season, yet to win here this season, although they've only lost 2 of the last 14 here at the G-Tech. Newcastle back in April, and Everton here on Saturday. An insipid Brentford performance by their own admission, hoping for better tonight, but already behind inside the opening stages. Ramsdale getting the ball forward, just inviting the press from Mbeumo, waiting to the last possible moment before playing it forward.
Do you know what? If Brentford were able to not swap Ivan Toney for Nketiah, but obviously get a lot of money in return, but bring Nketiah to Brentford, I think that'd be fantastic for the West London side. I really do. I think Nketiah is getting better and better. He's still not quite there to take Arsenal to win the title, but I can see in the next couple of years him being the perfect foil for someone.
Sago Jr. getting inside the Brentford penalty area, but it's easily cleared. Work back actually for Flecken when he didn't really want it. Nørgaard putting the pressure on. He did get it away. Hickey can then bring it down. Brentford turn it back, and behind Jørgensen, straight out of play for a corner.
Yeah, again, what we're seeing is a Brentford side that's devoid of confidence at the moment, really. Not really having much of the ball, and when they do, they seems like a hot potato, just giving it away completely, and not able to handle the Arsenal press, who now have got another corner. And you get the feeling, Jim, if Arsenal were to score a second goal earlier on, I don't really see Brentford coming back from this.
Corner to be taken on the Arsenal right-hand side. Everton lead at Villa. Will get news after this corner. which Smith Rowe's going to take. Everybody, apart from Jorginho and Nelson, inside that penalty area as it swung in, headed away by the Brentford backline. Referee saw some pushing and shoving. Free kick to Brentford and a lead for Everton at Villa Park. Alex Crook.
Aston Villa 0, Everton 1. James Garner with his first Toffees goal. It came from a mistake by Robin Olsen trying to play the ball out from the back. The Villa goalkeeper eventually rolled forward to Garner, and it's a brilliant left foot finish at the near post. 16 gone. Aston Villa 0, Everton 1.
In that Scottish League Cup quarter-final, Ross County 0, Aberdeen 1, and Ross County down to 10 men. Jack Baldwin has been sent off. Aberdeen beat Ross County 4-0 on Saturday. They already lead tonight with Graham Shinney's first of the season, and the Dons have a numerical advantage now as well. A little bit of rain in the air here in West London for the first time today as the ball is played for by Tomiyasu. Bounces on the halfway line. Pinnock can guide it back for Zanke Jørgensen. His ball over the top. Jorginho mops up. The offside flag is up. Arsenal got possession. Just for a moment thought the referee was going to play the advantage. White worked it back, so the referee decided there was no advantage, and he's given a free kick Arsenal's way. 16 minutes gone, and it's Brentford 0. Arsenal 1. The Gunners. Good value for it, Scott.
Yeah, they are. I mean, in terms of possession, they're absolutely dominated the game, 71%. There's only been one attempt from either side, and that was the goal itself. So, you know, in both boxes, not a lot has happened, but Arsenal were clinical at just the right time. But in terms of how the game's going, they're dominating the ball.
Hard in mouth stuff, though, the way that Arsenal try to play through this Brentford press at times. Ramsdale playing it in towards Jorginho. Now he's played a ball further forward in towards Nketiah, both receiving the ball and laying it off with their back to the direction of play very effectively. But the one in towards Jorginho was nervy. Kivior to Havertz, back for Kivior. Gabriel turned forward towards Jorginho, brings the ball through the centre circle and then arcs a pass into the path of Ben White, making his way forward up the right-hand side. He's trying to release Sago Jr. in behind. Hickey's done well, the young man, to get across in. Roslev heads it away. Force for Smith Rowe just outside the penalty area. Brentford deal with that threat as well. And then a free kick goes their way for a foul about 15 yards outside the Arsenal penalty area. Another goal at Ewood Park. Matt Jones.
It's all square. It's Blackburn 1, Cardiff 1, and this is an absolute screamer. Callum Robinson picking up possession from Colwill, 25 yards out, and he arrows a shot into the far bottom corner. Blackburn 1, Cardiff 1.
First of the season for Robinson. Cardiff, who've been in good form. 3 wins in a row, 5 wins in the last 6 games against the Blackburn side, who I know were pretty impressive in defeat at Ipswich at the weekend, despite the result, but trying to avoid a third successive defeat tonight. Here's Ben White over on the right-hand side for Arsenal, and further wide is Sago Jr., who, as Scott was saying earlier, can play anywhere across the front line. He's right-footed and he's playing on the right wing tonight, but there's plenty of experience playing in a more central role or on the left. Jorginho into the feet of Smith Rowe. Back for White. Smith Rowe made a really good run forward. White knew where he was going. Chips one over the top. But Pinnock had read the script as well, and he can shepherd it over the line and out of play for a goal kick that Mark Flecken will take. 18 gone here on Talksport. And it's Brentford 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, unlucky from Smith Rowe there. Got hold of the ball, laid it off to Ben White, and then went in behind with Sago Jr. just dropping off. And you know what? We talked about opportunities. Great opportunity for Sago Jr. Great opportunity for Reece Nelson. Great opportunity for Smith Rowe. Well, what about Kai Havertz? You know, he's the senior pro. He's gone in for £64 million. He's got to start showing that he is worth the money. So he's already lost the ball just a couple of times, or just looked a little bit lackadaisical. That is his style, I know it is. But this type of game where they're on top and it looks like they're going to go on and win, but while there's only one goal in it, you still never know. He needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and for me at the moment, he's just not capable of doing that.
He started the first 6 games of the season. Kai Havertz been left out for the last 2. Recalled tonight. Brentford have a throw. Collins has left it and will take his place inside the penalty area as one of the aerial targets. And Zanke Jørgensen does have a pretty impressive long throw on it. Now Brentford have left 2 back, everybody else forward, and Jørgensen throws it back to one of those who didn't advance, Onyeka. Onyeka now for Mes Roslev. Roslev's ball curving inside the penalty area. Half cleared for Janelt. Left-footed shot well blocked by Tomiyasu on the edge of the 6-yard box. And The ball ricochets towards halfway where Ruslan will go back to his goalkeeper, but that was Brentford's best moment of the game.
Yeah, much better from Brentford, getting the ball in the box, winning the knockdowns. Good strike from Janelt on his left foot, and Tomiyasu, really important clearance. I'm sure Ramsdale would have thought that he could have saved it, but it's one of those where there's so many people in front of you, the goalkeeper might have seen that late, so really important block that.
Ball out of play for a throw, which Brentford will take. About 20 yards inside the Arsenal half. Whistler trying to head it on. And it goes back out towards the far touchline, the Brentford left-hand side. Janelt with a little ball forward, and then coming together, and the referee gives a free kick Jorginho's way. It'll be taken about 10 yards outside the Brentford penalty area. Arsenal twice winners of this competition. They beat Liverpool in the final in '87. And then their most recent triumph in 1993, they beat Sheffield Wednesday. Beat Sheffield Wednesday in both of the domestic cup finals that season. Last season they were beaten at home to Brighton in the third round. Karl Hein, who's on the bench tonight, the Estonian international goalkeeper, made his debut that day, and that remains his only Arsenal appearance to date. But a 3-1 home defeat to Brighton in the third round last year after they got to the semi-finals and the quarter-finals in the previous two seasons, as indeed Brentford did. Not an awful lot happening as the ball has gone out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Brentford left-hand side at the moment. Everton leading at Villa, Blackburn, Cardiff's 1 apiece. Arsenal leading at Brentford here, Fulham 1, Norwich 0, Liverpool 0, Leicester 1's our live game on Talksport 2 right now, but they're goalless in the others. Brentford bringing it forward again. Arsenal losing their defensive shape for a moment, but Burmo's in the middle on Yeka there. Ruslan near the edge of the area. Whistler trying to turn, right-footed ball, half-headed clear. Ruslan will let it bounce. And Burmo taking it back away from the penalty area. Now turns and engages with Nelson. Plays it to his left-hand side for Collins. Collins to Pinnock and back for Jørgensen. But as he looks up, he's got all 11 Arsenal players between him and goal. And he works it through the midfield. And Nketiah seizes upon a ball that was intended for Pinnock. Now Sago Jr. picks it up. What a good turn that was. The Arsenal fans really appreciating that from the young man. Havertz is going to be able to take it on now for the Gunners. Nelson, bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area. Arsenal leading 1-0 here on Talksport. Smith Rowe, the bottom right-hand corner of the Brentford box. Quick exchange of passes with Ben White. Back it goes from Smith Rowe to Tomiyasu. Gabriel, the deepest lying of Arsenal's outfield players, is still only 20 yards outside the penalty area as he nudges it forward here for Kiwior. Kiwior to his right for Jorginho. Little clever ball between the lines. Smith Rowe taking it on. Can't get a shot in. Jorginho wins the seconds. It hits Havertz. Comes out for Kiwior. Kiwior to Nelson. The Arsenal goal scorer with a little bit of time around the edge of the box. And Nketiah will take it on. And Nketiah into the feet inside the penalty area. Now another good turn from Nelson. Looked to supply Nketiah with the return ball, but hit it to him waist high. Very difficult one for him to be able to control, and Brentford get it half clear.
Very difficult as well for Arsenal to break down this Brentford defence. Almost both teams are in the final third of Brentford, and you know you can't just whip it in and put the crosses in because you know that they've got big centre halves, Brentford. So you need to somehow find a way of little 1-2. Smith Rowe nearly got in. It was good play with Nketiah as well, but as I say, Brentford very hard to break down. Arsenal need to come back out, keep switching it out wide, and then look for any kind of spaces with the movement of the strikers up front.
Eddie Nketiah has got such a good record in this competition, incidentally. He's played 12 League Cup ties in his career. He's scored 11, including a hat-trick against Sunderland a couple of years ago. In fact, prior to tonight, he'd scored 6 of Arsenal's last 9 goals in the League Cup. Jorginho getting it back for his goalkeeper under pressure. And Ramsdale will clear before Burmo could take advantage. Long clearance headed forward by Pinnock, then on by Onyeka, but Arsenal can mop up. They lead 1-0.
You mentioned Eddie Nketiah. I think his game has come on so much. I remember him going on loan to Leeds and watching a few times, and he wasn't even getting onto the pitch, or certainly not in the starting 11 under Marcelo Bielsa. But you know, since then he's gone back and he just really improved his game. The way he sort of drops off his first touch has got so much better. And if he is able to just be a little bit more clinical, then I think there's an absolute player for Arsenal.
Oh, what a good strong run this is from Hickey. He beat 4 Arsenal players into the feet of Wissa. Wissa had 2 Arsenal players around him, went to ground as he tried to turn in possession and lost the ball. But that was magnificent from Hickey, just going up through the gears, lengthening the stride, keeping the ball near his feet and taking them all on.
It was almost like the inverted winger there, wasn't he? But he's the inverted fullback at the moment, or certainly wing back. And that's the thing you can do when you're playing on the other side, whether it's wing back or winger. You can come inside, shape to go inside, go down the outside as well. There's both options. Really good play from him.
Arsenal leading 1-0, 25 minutes gone. And also 25 minutes gone to Anfield over on Talksport 2 right now, where Liverpool trail at home to Leicester. But they've got such a good record this season, the Reds, of coming from behind in games in League and Cup. Long ball for Kivior, heads it on. Roslev can mop up. And let's go to Stamford Bridge first of all. Find out who's playing a left back for Chelsea. If only they had some candidates, Ian Danton.
26 gone. Chelsea 0, Brighton 0. I'll tell you what's happening. It's 4-2-3-1 for Chelsea. Cucurella right back, Chilwell left back, Maatsen playing right to the 3 behind Jackson, Cole at centre half. It's been nip and tuck, lots of possession football as you might expect. Massive chance for Brighton just now as Robert Sanchez, former Brighton keeper, passed the ball straight to João Pedro just outside the Chelsea box. He tried to chip Sanchez, it landed on the roof of the net. De Zerbi's going crackers down beneath me. He's had ants in his pants since moment 1. Chelsea 0, Brighton 0.
Brighton in action this Saturday lunchtime. They go to Villa Park. They can temporarily move level on points if they win that game. And we've got it for you live on Talksport. Game day exclusive. Build-up starting at 11 and the kick-off at 12:30. And the big roar is as the assistant referee signals a corner rather than a goal kick to Brentford. As Gabriel slid in, he thought that he played it off on Yeka. But it is a Brentford corner, and Burmo's going to take it. A right flank corner, which will be a left-footed in-swinger potentially. He does have the option of working it short here in towards Hickey. Very congested 6-yard box. Collins is going to make a run along with Jørgensen into that area. Little near-post flick. Wasn't quite as potent as it first looked from Wissa, and Nelson hammers it away. Roslev getting to the loose ball in the midfield. Puts his left hand out, looking for options, not happy at all, and now he's beckoning to players on both sides of him that no one was making the run that he wanted, showing for the pass. Brentford get it forward again, and Burmo trying to embarrass Havertz. A handball shout against Kai Havertz. Now, the referee's assistant hasn't given that, but he has given Brentford a throw.
Yeah, brilliant from Mbeumo though. Which again, it was just another long ball up there from Flecken, and he had 2 Arsenal players around him. Won the ball first of all, pounced on it. In the end, Kai Havertz just kicked it out, and a long throw coming up.
Rangers leading 1-0 in their Scottish League Cup quarter-final against Livingston. Simmer with his 4th of the season. In comes the long throw in towards the near post. Not that long as it turned out from Jørgensen. And then the ball in, the subsequent ball in from him was even worse. He sliced it off the outside of his right boot and straight out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Ramsdale. 1-0 to Arsenal.
I was going to say let's do him a favour and say it slipped in his hand. I don't know what the excuse was with the attempted cross. But it's a lost opportunity for Brentford. They've come a little bit more back into the game, and that's something that Thomas Frank would have wanted. But, you know, Arsenal very comfortable. But all the while there's only 1 goal in it. Then Brentford are certainly in this match. But if Arsenal get that second, it might be difficult for Brentford to come back into it, despite them playing at home.
Long ball play forward, Sells straight out of play. It's a throw that will be taken on the Brentford right-hand side. We'll get an update from Lincoln very shortly. They're still 0-0 their match against West Ham at the LNER. The ball cleared by the stumbling Flecken, conditions getting a little bit more difficult underfoot, and what started as being just a little bit of drizzle in the air really is becoming an increasing rainstorm now. Kivior, it's a swirling breeze as well. This is neither side really playing into the teeth of it, but the ball goes down towards Tomiyasu in the centre of the midfield. He's playing at centre half tonight, on the right of the 2 centre halves, incidentally, if you're just joining us. Kivior at left back, Ben White at right back. 4 from him to Jorginho. Jorginho's got it in the centre of midfield. Arteta is off the bench, all coated up now because of the weather, and just claps his hands and sticks his thumbs up to the Arsenal back line over on the far side. I think it was Ben White that was getting his attention there. Nelson just dribbling into a potentially dangerous area, but very neatly playing his way out of it. And Jorginho flicks it forward. That's a clever ball. Just plenty of spin on it. And Nketiah with a layoff. Laid off then by Havertz. Down towards Kivior. Movement to his left-hand side from Nketiah. He's got Nelson behind him in support. Kivior stops, takes a little bit of momentum out of the attack, but works it back for Nketiah. And now Kivior brings it forward again. Over on the Arsenal left-hand side is Nelson. He checks back onto his favoured right foot to deliver a pass for Kivior. Jorginho get on his right foot, swinging it across to Ben White in his blue boots. Here's Charles Sago Jr. Level with the edge of the box. No thought of putting a cross in. He's just laid it back for White, playing the sensible, if a little conservative pass. But he's had a very good start to his Arsenal debut in the opening half hour tonight. Sago Jr. Smith Rowe, Jorginho, Smith Rowe taking it on, getting into a shooting position. Flecken saves with his right foot on the stretch. Smith Rowe beat 3 but couldn't beat the keeper.
Well, I don't know how many passes that was, because that started about 2 minutes ago. Reece Nelson coming in from the left and to the right and passing it, coming back from the right to the left. Really patient but quick tempo football from Arsenal. Eddie Nketiah coming out on the left. It looks like he really wants to make an impact in this match. And it was Smith Rowe in the end who got inside the box. It looked like he was going to just stroke it into the corner. And what a goal that would have been, but a really good save from Flecken.
Throw taken by Kivior, and it goes straight out of play for a goal kick. We'll get an update from West Ham's match at Lincoln. Mark Wilson.
Yeah, still Lincoln 0, West Ham 0, 28 minutes gone here. Both sides have had good chances. First, West Ham, horrible slip from the centre half, Sean Rowan. Cornet racing in on goal and selfishly squared it to Ings, tried to take it round the keeper. Jensen made a great save and blocked the follow-up from Ben Rama. And at the other end, Lincoln just had the ball in the net. Adelaken's long throw not dealt with. O'Connor scuffed his shot across goal. Mitchell turned it in at the far post. He was just offside. Still, Lincoln 0, West Ham 0.
And to Bournemouth, Ian Abrahams.
Bournemouth 0, Stoke 0. Not a great deal has happened in the first half hour here. Bournemouth plenty of possession, but yet to create a real chance as Stoke send the corner in. It's Bournemouth 0, Stoke 0.
Now what about the 8 o'clock kick-off at St James's Park, Newcastle against Manchester City? Steve Harms.
Newcastle 0, Man City 0. 16 minutes gone. A lot of possession for Man City. A lot of good movement. Crisp pass, switching the play very, very well. Newcastle are struggling to keep a hold of the ball. A lot of different players on show. And a little bit of belief, I think, from Newcastle to keep the ball. But Man City are on full control of this first 16 minutes. But as it stands, it's Newcastle 0, Man City 0.
Kai Havertz with a shot on the edge of the penalty area that was blocked after another good Arsenal move. The Gunners well on top here, leading 1-0. Could be more. Havertz back towards Jorginho. Good movement from Smith Rowe. Well anticipated though by Pinnock and cleared. High ball that Mbeumo will chase. Brentford again trying to go 2 against 2 on the counter-attack. And Gabriel had to hope that the bounce of the ball was kind. It was kind enough for him. He could hook it away from Mbeumo and out of play for a throw.
Well, just in the space within a minute, we've seen what both teams are trying to do. Arsenal passed the ball really well, slick movement and looking as if they were going to create a chance. Then Brentford counter-attack with the ball over the top. Gabriel knows about the pace of Mbeumo now, so no messing about, just kicks it out.
Brentford have it at the back with Jensen. Goes out towards Hickey. Been 17 previous meetings of these two sides, incidentally, and they've both won 6 apiece. You imagine that Arsenal might have had a historical advantage in this fixture. They haven't. They have won the only previous game between these two in the League Cup. A 3-1 win 5 years ago. Danny Welbeck got a couple that day. Here's Roslev on the Brentford right, controlling it and laying it back for Nathan Collins on the right of the 3 centre halves. Fall from him to Nurgaard. Cleverly done from Nurgaard. Wissa! He's put it wide. He was unmarked, 15 yards out. Came to him beautifully. And he kept his head over the ball and drilled it to the top of his right foot, but put it about a foot wide.
Well, from Brentford's point of view, what a wonderful opportunity. Really good play from Nurgaard, and he whips the ball in early. And he's completely free this year. He could take a touch if he wanted to. Make sure you hit the target, but it's too easy for the Arsenal defence. Ball comes in, as I say, completely free. 18 yards out, perhaps even a little bit less than that, right in front of goal.
He scored the first couple of Premier League games this season, Johan Wissa, the Congolese international. Next goal for Brentford will be his 20th. Ball played for by Roslev and Mbeumo. Onyeka, good covering from Nelson. The two continue to go shoulder to shoulder after his clearance. Onyeka going down inside the penalty area. The officials weren't interested in that. And then as Arsenal try and bring it away, it goes out for a throw that'll be taken on the Brentford right-hand side by Collins.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta wanted a foul there on Nelson. It wasn't a foul, but I tell you what, the youngster really helped out his defence there, tracking back. And that's something that they're going to have to do. Brentford really haven't played particularly well, but they're always dangerous with the pace they've got, especially with Bryan Mbeumo. Just got to be careful about that, Arsenal.
Flecken's got the ball at his feet and works the angle cleverly to play it forward towards Roslev, who tried to flick it around the corner and completely missed it. And he goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. And tomorrow morning, live from the Marco Golf and Country Club for the Ryder Cup in Rome, Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist, which will be a fascinating 4 hours of radio, as always. Talksport breakfast, and the boys there Friday as well. And don't forget, the event itself tees off in Rome this Friday. We'll have full commentary over on Talksport 2 from 6 a.m. as Europe look to regain the trophy. It's Talksport 2, the Ryder Cup, right here for you.
I heard Ali asking Alan, are we going to watch any golf? One wanted to, I think one wasn't so sure. I think you know which one was which.
Yeah, I wonder. A goal at Ewood Park on the Talksport. Here's Matt Jones.
Blackburn back in front. Blackburn 2, Cardiff 1. It's Arne Sigurdsson who's got it a really good run down the right-hand side from Garrett. He pulls it back to Sigurdsson, who can't miss from close range. Blackburn 2, Cardiff 1.
Arsenal possession again with Nelson. Havertz back towards Nelson, the Arsenal goal scorer, beaten to it by Nørgaard. Jorginho links up in the midfield and finds Kivior. Ben White will come onto it now. And Keddy is showing for the ball, wanted it into feet, but the pass goes to Smith Rowe instead. And then Nketiah will take it and turn and show for the return ball and keep going before Pinnock slams it away and out of play for a throw down by the corner flag.
That's what I'm talking about, Eddie Nketiah. He's not just content to sort of stay between the sticks. He wants to drop off. He wants to come a little bit wide. Picks up the ball, plays a 1-2, and then just a burst of pace. Pinnock does really well to get the touch away there because he was the last man, and it would have been a 1-on-1 for Eddie Nketiah.
8 minutes to go to half-time. Arsenal with the advantage and belatedly with the throw into the feet of Smith Rowe. Sago Jr. then loses out. Visser will try and get it forward, just hoping that Mbeumo will be further forward to get on the end of a brisk ball for a counter-attack. The problem was Mbeumo was behind Visser.
Well, he was behind him, and Visser's almost playing the ball for Visser. Even he's not quick enough to do that. And that's the problem when you do have 11 men behind the ball, but that's what Arsenal do to you. You know, it's almost the way they're playing 1-2 touch football. Eddie Nketiah dropping off, Reece Nelson coming inside. You feel like you almost need, everybody needs to be dropping off, and if you do win the ball back, you look up, there's no one there.
That's Scott Minto, the former Chelsea and West Ham defender. Arsenal leading here. Everton, a goal up at Villa. Blackburn 2, Cardiff 1. Fulham leading Norwich 1-0. Leicester a goal up at Liverpool. Goalless in the others. And in the Scottish League Cup quarter-finals, Aberdeen a goal up and a man up at Ross County. Rangers leading by a goal to nil against Livingston. 0-0 between Hibs and St Mirren. The draw for the fourth round of the EFL Cup taking place tonight. We'll bring you all the reaction to the games that have happened. Your reaction equally as important. And the only place on national radio you can have your say is on the Sports Bar with Adam Catterall and Jermaine Pennant. They'll be taking your calls and will be interspersed with the draw for the fourth round of the EFL Cup. Those games taking place the last couple of days in October. Pinnock heading the ball away as a long Ramsdale clearance just seemed to hold up in the breeze. The rain, the first part of Storm Agnes we've seen here in London has just abated for a moment. Havertz back for Gabriel. To Ramsdale. Ramsdale put under pressure, telling pressure as well. Visser flicking the ball off him, down towards the corner flag. Gabriel got there ahead of Mbeumo. Gabriel looking, surveying his options, eventually able to dig his left foot around it to get it clear. Nervy moment that for Ramsdale. Roslev, now to Collins. And Collins will go back for Pinnock.
Yeah, I just think that's come from Kai Havertz. He received the ball, and he's got that kind of, lackadaisical approach, and he plays it back to Ramsdale and doesn't give any kind of option. So he's looking up Ramsdale to try and not just knock it long. And that's the type of thing when you're a goalkeeper or someone wanting to try and impress. Perhaps you're the number 2 now. You want to do something not extra special, but make it look like you're really calm. And actually what you should have done was just kick it down the other end of the pitch, and he nearly got caught out there.
Jorginho plays it back for Gabriel. Gabriel back inside his own penalty area for Ramsdale. Ramsdale taking a couple of touches, rolling the studs of his right boot over the top of the ball, and then Mikel Arteta applauds him because it was an inch-perfect ball right along the ground, 40 yards forward for Havertz to start this latest Arsenal attack. They end up going back via Gabriel to Ramsdale again, and again his distribution is good. Smith Rowe out for Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu plays it forward, sliding in. Yannick puts it out of play for an Arsenal throw. There have been a couple of skirmishes. One great block from Tomiyasu. Inside the Brentford penalty area, inside the Arsenal penalty area, I beg your pardon, but other than that, the Bees haven't really shown too many chances of being able to get themselves back on level terms.
No, that and that chance from Visser where he was kind of free and could have taken the touch. You know, apart from that, really, Arsenal have been very comfortable, and Yannick got a really good touch there, actually, because Arsenal are very patient on the ball. They're passing it around, they're going backwards, not afraid to do that at all. And actually, if that ball had gone past Yannick, then Eddie Nketiah was ready to turn, and it would have been a 3-on-3.
Ben White just picked up a yellow card for time wasting. He'd had a warning a couple of minutes ago, and then was delaying the restart again and surveying his options for a throw, and has got a yellow card.
I'm not having that though, Jim. I'm sorry. You know, it's not as if he's time wasting. Okay, he's looking around and he's not throwing it in quickly, but you're not just going to give the ball away or throw it to someone who's under pressure. You want to have that ability to wait. My goodness me, I'd have been 20 yellow cards a season on a throw-in. But referees just need to understand, it's not as if there's 5-10 minutes to go and they're trying to see the game out. We're still in the first half.
No, you'd have been all right. It'd only been 12 yellows because you'd have been suspended for the other 8. The ball is away to our left with Flecker. The suspension rules for this competition, just to remind you, if you get 2 yellow cards prior to the quarterfinals, you will miss a tie. So White on 1 yellow card for the night and for the competition. None of the Brentford players have brought yellow cards into this game.
You know, I'm all for trying to either speed the game up or for the fans who pay their hard-earned money to watch as much football that's actually played on the pitch. But that's not a yellow card. It's not time wasting.
And as we've seen, the time is being added on for the delays in restarts.
And he's got to be
season.
careful now with any tackles going forward, you know, especially with the pace of Visser and Mbeumo. Any one-on-one situation, he can't afford to dive in now.
Gabriel playing the ball forward into the feet of Kai Havertz. 3 minutes to go to half-time. It's not going to be an awful lot of time to be added on by way of stoppages. It's Brentford 0, Arsenal 1, with the 8th minute goal from Reece Nelson, the difference between the two. And Nketiah into the feet of Jorginho. Back it goes for Gabriel. Thought about going back for Ramsdale and then turned the other way, got it away from Mbeumo. Arsenal looking long, and Nelson's done really well to get there ahead of Roslev. Havertz will help it out towards the left-hand touchline, but frustratingly for Nketiah away from him, he actually did well to rescue it before it went out of play for a throw on the left-hand touchline. Havertz now to play it out towards Kivior. Onyeka stumbled, so he wasn't able to intercept the pass. Jorginho back behind Nelson. Tomiyasu goes out towards White, and Ben White will just check and work it back towards halfway again. But Arsenal finding it very easy to maintain possession by and large. They've had the lion's share of it throughout the game. Nice layoff from Nelson. Jorginho taking it on, but Onyeka has been able to dispossess him, came back, made the block. Nurgaard goes back for Roslev, and Brentford will try and get it away out towards Frank Onyeka on the Bees' right-hand side. When the whistle goes, and the referee's found in favour of Nurgaard. It's a free kick which Brentford will take.
Yeah, I mean, they're so good, Arsenal, aren't they, in the ball, and they're actually getting into the final third of Brentford, who are dropping all their players back, and they're realising actually we've got to bring them back again. So they get the ball back to the halfway line. There's a bit more space. Kai Havertz, I don't want to be on top of him all the time, and I think some of the criticism has been a little bit out of order, but you know, you just want him to step it up a little bit more. You know there's a player there, and didn't really see it on a consistent basis for Chelsea. Already not seeing it yet for Arsenal, and yet this is the type of game for him to make his mark.
And now Arsenal want it back. It was very well done by Tomiyasu, and it's played in towards Nketiah by Nelson. Doesn't quite break his way on the edge of the penalty area, and Brentford are going to be able to clear again with Frank Onyeka. Possession 62-38 in Arsenal's favour, and the only 2 shots we've seen on target tonight have both come from the visitors. Just the one since Reece Nelson's 8th minute goal. Yannick spinning the ball around the corner. Gabriel puts it away from Mbeumo, and it goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Brentford right.
Yeah, it just feels that Arsenal are just one pass away. They're playing the ball really well, and especially in these wet, slick conditions, passing 1-2 touch, and it's almost last-ditch defending from Brentford. If, as I said before, Arsenal, if they get that second goal, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it'll be difficult for Brentford. So they've got to make sure that they defend it solidly, but when they have the ball, just give the front two a bit of a chance. Flecken especially has just knocked the ball long, not been good enough.
Now the ball has gone out of play for a throw that'll be taken very quickly by Roerslev, and Burmo acted as the ball boy and then sprinted to try and get in behind Gabriel. But the long throw was too swift and goes past the Burmo, out of play for a goal kick.
Even there, it's a throw-in. Just take your time. He's thrown it in behind, and Gabriel was always going to get there first. Give the front two a chance. I have to say, and Burmo's really impressed me, but he hasn't had any quality play coming up to him at all.
Now we're into a couple of minutes of time added on at the end of the first half. St Mirren have had a wonderful start to their season. 8 wins in 10, unbeaten in those 10 games, and they lead away to Hibs. Scott Tanzer has given them the advantage. There's Nick Montgomery's at Hibs just before half-time in the League Cup quarter-final north of the border. Here it's 1-0 to Arsenal. Ball out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Brentford right-hand side by Frank Onyeka. Onyeka just drives the ball on his shirt and throws it back for Collins. Collins will take it. He goes back for Ethan Pinnock. Pinnock to his goalkeeper Flecken, the £11 million signing from Freiburg over the summer. Brentford will work it forward. Zanke Jørgensen in towards Vista Tomiyasu. Just denied him the opportunity to turn, and it was very well dealt with by the Japanese. He goes back for Ramsdale, slammed forward high up in the air. Collins, as tall as anyone else on the pitch, ends it away. Then brought down by Kiviorn. Nørgaard very quickly dispossessed him, and Roerslev will mop up and go back for Flecken on the edge of the 6-yard box. 30 seconds of the first half to go. Flecken clearing it, just shipping it forward, lofted towards halfway, where Jorginho, the Arsenal captain, is in very strongly and heads it away from Frank Onyeka. Nigerian ending up on the deck, but he's okay, he's back on his feet. And Roerslev just delaying the throw on the Brentford right-hand side. Collins taking it quickly, finding Janelt. Janelt goes back for Pinnock. And then Pinnock brings it forward 2-3 steps or so to Vidali Janelt. Janelt curving the ball down towards the Brentford left-hand side. Hickey chasing after it. Haven't seen him push forward from left-back too frequently in the last 15 minutes or so. He's laid it back here for Onyeka right at the end of the first half, and indeed the half is curtailed by referee Peter Banks' whistle. Arsenal very good value for the 1-0 lead that Reece Nelson gave them on 8 minutes. A misplaced ball back inside the Brentford penalty area. The Gunners seizing upon it, and Nelson was there to slot home his first start since March. Seeing him on the score sheet, Brentford still yet to have a shot on target. And half-time at the G-Tech, it's Brentford 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, back here at St James Park, it's all Manchester City, but no goals as yet, 0-0, but City absolutely dominating. Scott Minto, Arsenal 1-0 up at Brentford. As Jim just said, nothing on target from Brentford. They've got to do something. What can they do in the second half?
Well, they've got to, when they have the ball, they've got to keep it a little bit better, or even if they do try and go long to the front two-way, they've got to give them better ball. You know, Flecken, the goalkeeper, for me, has just knocked it long, and even the last one there where he tried to dink it, it still floated, and it's asking for the centre-halves to come through the centre-forward. So, look, there's pace there, and Burmo especially, but Vista has shown that they do have pace to burn, you know, round the channels of the centre-halves of Arsenal, but the quality ball coming in for them has just not been good enough, whereas Arsenal on the other side have been really slick, and but for some last-ditch defending, would have had a couple of one-on-ones against Flecken as well. And as I say, the second goal, I think, kills this tie off, but at the moment, Brentford's still in it.
Scott, for the time being, thank you very much. Half-time on Talksport 2, it's Liverpool 0, Leicester 1. We've got a goal at Ewood Park. Matt Jones.
It's Blackburn 2, Cardiff 2. Cardiff have just equalised for a second time, and it's a brilliant strike by Keon Atet, netting for the third Carabao Cup game running. He spins his man in the box and curls into the far corner. The keeper, Wallstad, can't get down to it. It's now half-time. The whistle's just gone. Cardiff coming from behind twice after goals from Jake Garrett and Sigurdsson earlier on. Callum Robinson got the first equaliser, and Atet there levelling on the break. Blackburn 2, Cardiff 2.
His goal-scoring record in their competition is phenomenal. Check it out over the last few seasons for a youngster. It's truly amazing. By the way, Leicester 1 up at Liverpool, and second half commentary of that on Talksport 2. Download the Talksport app. It's quick to download, easy to use. You can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2. Half-time at Stamford Bridge in the Carabao Cup third round. Talksport Ian Danter.
Chelsea 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. There's been lots of possession. Brighton have had a bit more of it than the hosts. Lots of hairy moments at the back for both sides trying to play the ball out of defence, but particularly for Chelsea. Robert Sanchez in the Chelsea goal against his old club passed the ball straight to João Pedro in the 24th minute. Pedro tried to chip it back from whence it came. It went over the hand of Sanchez but landed on the roof of the net. And then Caicedo was robbed at the edge of the Chelsea penalty area by Baleba, his replacement at Brighton. It broke for Ansu Fati, but Sanchez, who was already on his way down, made a brilliant save to tip it wide for a corner kick. Chelsea's best chance came at the other end when Mudryk made a really strong run through the middle, sliding challenges from both Igor and from Lamptey. Mudryk elected to stay on his feet. I think there are a few Chelsea fans around me wondering why he didn't go down and try and persuade Thomas Bramall to give a penalty. At the break, Chelsea 0, Brighton 0.
It's half-time at Villa Park in the Cup as well. Talksport's Alex Crook.
And it's Aston Villa 0, Everton 1. The only goal of the half coming in the 15th minute. Robin Olsen, the Villa goalkeeper, put his side in trouble, playing the ball out from the back. In the end, it was Onana who played in James Garner, and he finished neatly at the near post to claim his first Toffees goal. In truth, the visitors could be out of sight already. Olsen atoning for his early mistake by denying Jack Harrison on debut from point-blank range, and then saving superbly after Dominic Calvert-Lewin was played in one-on-one. Aston Villa have been nothing short of woeful. John Duran blazing into the Holt end in stoppage time, as close as they've come to even troubling Jordan Pickford in the Everton goal. They've also lost Leon Bailey to injury. Remember, the home side unbeaten here at Villa Park since February. That record is under a very real threat. Half-time here, it's Aston Villa 0, Everton 1.
And we've reached half-time at the LNER Stadium as well. Mark Wilson. And we can't seem to get hold of Mark Wilson. What we'll do is we'll go to Craven Cottage instead for Dave Rowe.
It's Fulham 1, Norwich 0. Fulham have mainly been in control. Early headers over from Iwobi and Polinia before the opening goal on 12 minutes. Williams deep ball to the far post, headed back across by Iwobi, and Carlos Vinicius was on hand to score from close range. William went close to a spectacular second, going inside two defenders before curling just wide, but Norwich then missed a massive chance to equalise. The pace of Poeta down the left, he skinned Diop and pulled it back into the penalty area, where Tony Springett somehow contrived to put the shot wide. Rodak saved smartly from a McCallum header before Vinicius went close to a second with turn and shot just wide after a sweeping Fulham move. At the break, it's Fulham 1, Norwich 0.
And we've hit the break at the Vitality as well. Talksport's Ian Abrams.
Bournemouth 0, Stoke 0. Not a great game. Bournemouth had 2 shots on target we've had so far. Kirkes with an effort from the edge of the box, easily saved by Jack Bonham, who did even better with a really fierce drive from Ouattara. As for Stoke City, they've had moments, not many of them, the truth be told, but they have had moments. They just need to make sure they actually work the goalkeeper in the second half. Half-time, Bournemouth 0, Stoke 0.
I can tell you it is 0-0, Lincoln West Ham at half-time. A couple of half-times in Scotland as well. Scottish League Cup quarter-finals. The St Mirren are 1-up at Hibs. Aberdeen lead 1-0 at 10-man. Ross County, the centre-half, Jack Baldwin sent off. Rangers Livingston was an 8 o'clock kick-off. Rangers 1-0 up. Half-time in the Cymru Premier, Ballatown 0, Aberystwyth Town 1. Match centre on the Talksport website, talksport.com, has all the details from all tonight's games, including the Serie A games, where tonight both Fikayo Tomori and Ruben Loftus-Cheek have scored for Milan in a 3-1 win. Details of those goals on the match centre. Loftus-Cheek strike, an absolute beauty. It'll also tell you Victor Osimhen did start for Napoli tonight, and he scored as well for the Italian champions. Just head to the fixtures results tab on the home screen of talksport.com. You're listening to Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+B, gambleaware.org. You know all the half times in our commentary game on Talksport. Brentford 0, Arsenal 1. In our commentary game on Talksport 2, it's Liverpool 0, Leicester 1. And here in the 8 o'clock kickoff, we're still in the first half at St James Park. Man City on top, but it's Newcastle 0, Manchester City 0.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+B, gambleaware.org.
300 years of expertise in every Twinings sleep blend. 100 hours of craft in every cup. 8 natural ingredients in every sip. 1 night of winding down in every drop. Your moment of serenity. Brought to you by Twinings Sleep. Twinings. Alive in every drop.
At E.ON Next, we believe life's better when you know you can choose a fixed energy tariff where you'll be safe in the knowledge of what energy price you're paying for the duration of your contract. We think that makes energy a little bit better. And that's why we're always working towards helping you get more out of your energy. So visit eonnext.com today. T's and C's apply. Smart meter required if eligible. Exit fees apply.
When you can't quite get the angle, take hands-free selfies with the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. Stand it up, step back, and your photos are auto-synced to your Chromebook, ready to edit. The new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Chromebook, available on Vodafone.
Hello, everyone. It's time to play a game. Trust me, you will want to remain alert. On September 29th, Jigsaw is back for his most personal game yet. I still have a lot of work that needs to be done. Saw X in cinemas Friday.
Coffee is getting complicated. Floral rose infusions, undertones of roasted pomegranate, and cherry hazelnut notes. I ordered a coffee, not a pavlova. McCafe coffees are made with organic milk and freshly ground Arabica beans. And you know what it tastes like? Coffee. Great tasting coffee. Simple.
It's just you versus your mates with Le Bon, the quality new football predictor app. With Le Bon, you predict the results for the weekend's big games, invite your mates, then add a few quid to the in-app pot. The mate with the most points at the end of the weekend wins the cash kitty. Simple. With Le Bon, it's just you versus your mates, wherever you are. Download the Le Bon app today and get your mates on it this weekend. Le Bon. Lebon. 18 plus, begambleaware.org, winning subject to 10% transaction fee.
Feeling I've forgotten something.
Have you got your passport?
Yes.
Boarding pass?
Yes.
Sun cream?
Yep.
What about the children?
Oh.
With Admiral Platinum Travel Insurance, you get cover up to £2,500 for any loss, theft and damage to your belongings. No wonder it has a de facto 5-star rating. Admiral Insurance. Rewardingly simple.
Experience the power of magic at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida in summer 2024. Book selected packages by the 9th of November and get up to $2,100 dining and merchandise credit on 2-week stays. A 14-day ticket for the price of 7, plus a Disney gift card worth up to $200. Book now at disneypackages.co.uk. Selected 2024 arrivals and Disney resorts. $2,100 credit based on 14-night stay in August and September. Conditions and exclusions apply.
Thanks, everyone. We're really looking forward to getting this contract approved, so have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Said Rufus, aren't you a lovely wobbly dog?
Tom, I think you're meant to meet yourself.
Oh, yes, they are.
Tom!
That was a bad idea. Unbreakable business broadband? That's a great idea. With BT Enhanced Broadband, our 4G backup powered by EE means you always have a reliable connection. Search BT Business Deals to find out more. BT means business. Terms apply. BT Hybrid Connect and 4G coverage required with average connection in 95 to 127 seconds. Enhanced broadband subject to availability.
We're BetMGM, and we know how to put on a show. So we don't just give you background music, we give you... And we're here in the UK to make every game an occasion, every spin an event, with tools to help you stay safe. Get ready for the golden era in sports and casino. BetMGM, it's showtime.
18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Get set to put one in the back of the net when we play the All-Star Penalty Shootout on Talksport with Nissan Vans. Go head-to-head in a virtual football trivia shootout, and you could win the ultimate fan prize package, including VIP tickets to watch Manchester City, accommodation, spending money, and even a PlayStation 5. Result: register to play now at talksport.com/win. The All-Star Penalty Shootout on Talksport with Nissan Vans. Accelerate your business with Nissan's All-Star Van lineup.
Turn of pace and an eye for goal.
Brilliant finish in the bottom left-hand corner.
The League Cup back on Talksport.
We've got 2 live Premier League commentaries on Talksport Saturday. Join Reshmin Chowdhury from 11 a.m. as we bring you Villa Brighton. Villa's home record sensational. Brighton plays some great football, as we know. Should be a cracker, that one. And that's followed by Bournemouth Arsenal at 3 p.m. I'll be hosting that one from 2:30 on Talksport, live from Manchester United against Crystal Palace. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Well, Arsenal lead 1-0 at Brentford in our commentary on Talksport. The Gunners are 3-1 on to win in 90. The draw is 13-4. Brentford to win is 10-1. Over on Talksport 2, Leicester lead 1-0 at Anfield against Liverpool. The Foxes 9-4 to win the match. The draw in 90 minutes 2-1. And Liverpool to win 5-4. It's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
A little bit delayed, but we can now round up what's happened in the first 45 at the LNER Stadium with Mark Wilson.
Yeah, cheers, Adrian. Lincoln 0, West Ham 0, but don't let the scoreline fool you. This has been a cracking cup tie. First chance went to West Ham. Horrible slip from Sean Rowan in defence. Cornet drove in on goal. Unselfishly squared it to Ings, who was denied by a fine Jensen save, and he also blocked the follow-up from Ben Rama. Lincoln had the ball in net on 26 minutes. A long throw from Adelake, and been causing problems all night. Wasn't cleared. O'Connor flicked on. The shot from Smith, he dragged it wide. It was going wide of the far post. It was touched in at the far post by Mitchell, who was just offside. Then the biggest chance of the game, great cross from the left hand side for Lincoln. Ali Smith it was, whipped the ball in. Rico Hackett leapt high, 6 yards out, bullet header. Fabianski pulled off a world class save to keep him out. And then up the other end, Danny Ings, mazy run, took him into the edge of the box, one-on-one with the keeper, pulled it wide. Make no mistake, West Ham are in the game here. They could be in a bit of trouble. Half time, Lincoln 0, West Ham 0.
Well, it's livening up here at St James Park. Still goalless though, Steve Harmison.
Yeah, it's been a good first half for Manchester City. They really have passed the ball well, moved unbelievably quickly, and just seems as though they've got 13 men on the field to Newcastle's 11. Newcastle have really chased shadows, but with 72% possession at this moment in time, only really two chances you could say, and they were half chances at that. Alcaraz has had a flash across goal. Grealish was through, but a good tackle from Paul Dummett to stop that attack. And Newcastle nearly had a chance of their own. Joe Linton won the ball in midfield, played the ball through to Jacob Murphy, and his shot was well saved by Ortega. But all in all, Newcastle have come back into it in the last 5 minutes, but it's been total dominance from Man City, who have been excellent for me.
Yeah, Murphy really, I think, should have done better with that. The only real chance that Newcastle have had. Man City getting a little bit sloppy in midfield. I'm wondering what Pep Guardiola's thinking of the performance in the first half from Calvin Phillips. I don't think it's been particularly positive from a man who really needs to make his mark. 1 minute of added time coming up. But I've got to say, Oscar Bobb, the number 52 for Man City, the Norwegian 20-year-old, his first start. What a player he's going to be.
Been brilliant to watch, isn't it? It really has been brilliant to watch, as well as Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis and Nathan Ake have come into that sort of midfield as a 3 and really caused Newcastle problems. But the movement of Bob coming off, he's played as a centre forward, then he's played as a number 10, and then he's linked well with Rico Lewis at right back, Gomez on the right wing, played in that little triangle. He's been really, really positive in everything he's doing. And again, ball through, again, Man City looking to be positive. I think Pep Guardiola, a few times watching him, he's been very frustrated with Calvin Phillips and not being able to change play. Ball's gone into him and it's gone straight back, and you can see Guardiola, he's just referencing just to open your body up, and can you play out the other side? And that's what Man City did well in the first 25 minutes, was change play quickly, and Newcastle didn't have a hope of getting the ball back.
Yeah, it is half time now. It is goalless as well, but Manchester City have been on top, and do wonder if Calvin Phillips will come out for the second half. We'll wait and see. Pep might give him a bit more time. Oscar Bobb hasn't made his debut for Norway yet, but when he plays up there with Haaland, with Odegaard behind them, if they can find some defenders, they're going to win the World Cup and Euros for years and years to come.
He's been brilliant to watch. And do you know what? Looking at the game, Adrian, you look at the young players that are on show in the game. The likes of Bob, 20-year-old Rico Lewis, under 20. Alvarez is a young man as well. The way they've moved, Newcastle would have been indifferent. I think the battle between Livramento and Grealish has been really good down Newcastle's right full back. I think Lewis Hall, he might not come out for the second half. He's gone come from left midfield to centre midfield to left back. Him or Target might be the one that changed. And Lewis Miley, you feel sorry for him because he's in there with Tonali, who doesn't move very well, and the ball's just getting bobbed around him. So what the Carabao Cup sees is young players playing, and all in all, I've been so impressed by especially the two young players for City, Rico Lewis and Bob. I think they've been fantastic in that first half.
Yep, they've been dynamic. 0-0 here then at half-time in this 8 o'clock kick-off on Talksport 2. Leicester of the Championship lead at Liverpool of the Premier League 1-0. That's live commentary coming up in the second half. But on Talksport, Brentford 0, Arsenal 1. Second half commentary from the GTEC Stadium with Scott Minto and Jim Proudfoot.
Adrian, thank you very much indeed. We will keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in throughout the second halves up and down the country and in those games in Scotland as well. No sign of any changes to either team ahead of the second half. They line up like this: Brentford, Flecken in goal, Roerslev, Collins, Pinnock, Jørgensen, Hickey, Onyeka, Nørgaard and Janelt, and Burmo and Wissa up front. Arsenal, Ramsdale in goal, White, Tomiyasu, Gabriel and Kivior, Smith Rowe, Jorginho, Havertz, Sago Jr. and Nketiah and Nelson. The benches for Brentford: Jensen, Godos, Aya, Lewis Potter, Yarmolyuk, Olakigbe, Brearley, and two keepers, Balcom and Strakosha. The Arsenal bench: Ødegaard, Jesus, Cedric, Elneny, Zinchenko, Cozier, Dubry, Sweeten, Walters and Karl Hein. We're back underway. Tomiyasu with a strong header forward for Arsenal in this unaccustomed position that he's playing tonight, but he's played it very well. The first free kick of the second half taken by Brentford from about 15 yards further back than it needed to be. Arsenal are able to get that away. Goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Brentford right. Scott Minto, the former Chelsea and West Ham United defender, is alongside me. Scott, what will the gist of the half-time team talk have been from Thomas Frank? How do Brentford create more opportunities rather than merely limiting themselves to the counter-attack?
I think they know they're not going to have much possession, but when they do get the ball, they have to make sure that they, keep it first of all, or if they are going to actually try and go long, just give better quality to the front two. Front two are working really hard, especially Brian and Burma, who I do think has troubled almost the left side of the back four of Arsenal at times in that first half. But sometimes, it's got absolutely no chance with the ball coming in. So, yeah, defensively they've been okay, even though Arsenal have opened them up a couple of times. But when they look at counter-attack, which is what they're wanting to do, make sure that pass into the front two is done with real quality.
So as things stand at the moment, Everton, Arsenal, Fulham and Leicester all going through. The other games would all be going to penalties. No extra time these days, I know you're aware. But from 90 minutes straight to penalties, which we talked about it last night, I think it's an innovation that is fantastic, and the competition really benefits from that. And then the fourth round draw follows between 10 and 11 o'clock, and we'll bring it to you live in the Sports Bar with Adam Canterell and Jermaine Pennant taking your calls tonight. 03717 22 33 Tomiyasu's played it back for Ramsdale inside the box, and Ramsdale looked as though he was going to go long first time, then just waited and slammed it really high forward, and Nketiah claiming he was being pulled back by Collins. The free kick has gone against Eddie Nketiah. Collins carried on running towards the edge of his own penalty area, then I think sensed that he might be in a bit of trouble, and 3 or 4 seconds later went down himself.
Not a foul for me at all. In fact, if anything, it was the other way round, and really good play from Eddie Nketiah. Again, he's not the tallest, especially coming up against Nathan Collins, but showed his strength there. He realised that he wasn't going to be able to win the ball, so he's got his body between the ball and Collins. Collins has almost dragged him down, and yet he's been clever, Collins, you have to say, but the referee bought that. I think that's good forward play from Nketiah, and should have had a foul and an Arsenal free kick now.
As it is, it's a Brentford free kick, which Pinnock has taken. Zanke Jørgensen works it forward, and Burmo to Hickey, and back from Burmo, and Wissenew's offside and was in no position to chase that ball that was curved down the inside left channel, and it goes through for Aaron Ramsdale away to our left-hand side. Ramsdale springing towards the edge of the box again, and he'll hit it forward right-footed. Ball headed down by Pinnock, brought under control by Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah to White, Smith Rowe picking it up now. Smith Rowe working it just between the lines for a moment for Nketiah. A showing for the ball much more. You touched on it in the first half. His all-round play as a number 9 has improved immeasurably over the last 18 months or so.
I think it really has, and he's always been that kind of fox-in-a-box goal scorer. He's still yet to show, but he's absolutely clinical at the very highest level. But, you know, his game has improved, and I've been very impressed with him.
Hickey's just given Sago Jr. a strong shove. It was a legitimate one, and Brentford will be able to bring it forward. And Vitaly Janelt is eating up the yards. His goal side of Ben White plays it across the face of Onyeka, and Burmo can pick it up. Russ left to his right, low ball in, not the best. It was easily blocked by Kivior, and all Brentford get out of it is a throw. It was a much more promising situation than that. Brentford will bring it forward again. Over on Talksport 2, Liverpool have equalised at home to Leicester. And the Foxes scoring early in the first half. Cody Gakpo has equalised early in the second. Liverpool 1, Leicester 1. And there's been a goal at Bournemouth, deadlock broken. Ian Abraham.
Bournemouth 1, Stoke 0. Dominic Solanke introduced to the half-time substitute, scored. Ball in from the right-hand side, and he was inside the 6-yard box to turn and fire home. Bournemouth 1, Stoke 0.
Nurgard with the shots, taking the deflection off, and Burmo. Out comes Aaron Ramsdale, but the flag is up anyway. Deadlock also broken. Stamford Bridge, Ian Danta.
Chelsea 1, Brighton 0. Cole Palmer set up Nicholas Jackson with a lovely little light pass at the edge of the area. Jackson running onto it, 12 yards out, buried it in the bottom corner. Chelsea 1, Brighton 0.
It's their first goal for 337 minutes since Enzo Fernandez scored against Wimbledon in this competition. Chelsea 1, Brighton 0. And that 4-goal thriller at Ewood Park has seen goal number 5, Matt Jones.
It's another for Blackburn, who are back in front. Blackburn 3, Cardiff 2. A horrendous error at the back by Jonathan Panzo for Cardiff. He gifted the ball straight to Andrew Moran, who just went through on goal and slotted home. Blackburn 3, Cardiff 2.
5 gone second half. Brentford 0, Arsenal 1 here. Jorginho, Smith Rowe. And then it goes back for Tomiyasu. Ben White will take over now for Arsenal. Smith Rowe making a run ahead of him. But it's played back for Tomiyasu instead. He's done very well just to work the angle for Jorginho, who's in a bit of space. And Kedia takes it on, and it's touched a little bit heavy. Onyeka could get it away, but Arsenal have got possession back just as quickly as they lost it. White to Smith Rowe. Jorginho, an increasing influence now. Abbott's giving it back to him. Ben White's got it. Smith Rowe showing for the ball to his left. Sago Jr. making a run down the right, but White elected to just play it back towards Tomiyasu instead. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Arsenal still stringing the passes together, still in complete control here. Eddie Nketiah bringing it forward onto his right foot, and he's placed it over the bar, Scott Minto.
I'll tell you what, though, showing the confidence that he's got. He's the one who's taken the game by the scruff of the neck. He's dropping deep, he's picked up the ball, he's cut inside, left centre, 20-25 yards out, and you almost, want that to hit the top corner. I mean, I'm not supporting either team here, but I've just been so impressed with the way that Eddie Nketiah is trying to affect this game. And obviously we talked beforehand about what's going to happen. Are they going to go out and try and get Ivan Toney in January, or maybe even get another striker somewhere? He's the one who wants to prove, even with Gabriel Jesus, that he should be the guy up front, the striker, the one that's going to take Arsenal to the title. I'm still not sure he's ready for that, but I tell you what, been very impressed with how well he's played and how much he's trying to dominate this game from striker, and that's not easy. But he's dropping off into midfield, playing really well, and just a little bit over the top there.
Brentford trailing by a goal to nil. They were beaten here by Everton at the weekend, whose away form has been poor, but having won here at the weekend, they're having another great night on their travels tonight. Alex Crook.
Aston Villa 0, Everton 2. Another gift for the visitors. Yuri Tillemans this time with a sloppy pass in midfield. Soldes Riconsa short in nip. Dominic Calvert-Lewin to race one-on-one with Olsen, the goalkeeper, and finishing calmly into the bottom corner. Villa made a quadruple change at half-time. It hasn't made any difference at all to their performance. It's Aston Villa 0, Everton 2.
And a second goal in quick succession of Bournemouth, Ian Abrahams.
Bournemouth 2, Stoke 0, 2 in 3 minutes. This one, Joe Rothwell with a free kick wide on the left-hand side, right-footed, beat everybody, including Bonham. It's Bournemouth 2, Stoke 0.
Penalty action at Ewood Park, Matt Jones.
And it's been saved. It was Blackburn who had it. They got the penalty through Moran dancing into the box and being brought down. Sigurdsson's just taken it, but Runnarsson guessed right and saved with his right hand. Blackburn remain. Blackburn 3, Cardiff 2.
8 minutes gone in the second half here. Brentford 0, Arsenal 1, and the Gunners bringing it forward with Ben White. Sago Jr. wearing 71 for Arsenal. And they're just with quick feet, flicking it one side, then the other, getting it away from Hickey, playing it back through the midfield to White, and now Kivior will take it on. Smith Rowe turning it onto his right foot, back behind square for Jorginho. Kivior and towards Reece Nelson on the Arsenal left. Nearly every Arsenal move seems to have 10, 15 passes strung together, and they've just given a free kick away over on the far side, and the referee might produce a yellow card here for a poor challenge by Eddie Nketiah. 5 goals and a missed penalty at Ewood Park, and now another goal, Matt.
This is getting ridiculous. Blackburn 4, Cardiff 2. From the resulting corner after the penalty was saved, the ball came out to Moran at the edge of the area, and he smashed home from 20 yards. His second goal of the night. Blackburn 4, Cardiff 2.
2 goals in 3 minutes for Bournemouth, 2 in 2 minutes for Hibs, who leads St Mirren 2-1. They've had a great start to the second half. Johan and Venter scoring the goals. Hibs 2, St Mirren 1. The Rangers still leading in their quarter-final against Livingston by a goal to nil. Run through all the scores for you in a moment. Remember, live on Talksport 2 right now. Liverpool 1, Leicester 1. Smith Rowe losing out. Whistle winning it back. Turning into trouble for a moment on Onyeka, laying it back for Nørgaard. Jensen's been getting ready for Brentford. We might see him very shortly, just having a few instructions from Thomas Frank right now. As the Bees get it forward out towards the far touchline, Kivior goes in strongly. He's fouled Roslev, caught him just above the thigh. It might have been the landing rather than anything else that has caused the problems for Roslev. It didn't look too bad a challenge, but it is going to be a Brentford ball.
Now, Kivior saying it was shoulder to shoulder, and I agree with him, to be honest with you. Roslev got there just before, but they still had a bit of a clash, but it wasn't for me enough of the Arsenal left back to say that was a foul. Yes, there was a physical contact, but it wasn't a foul for me. But I tell you what, these sort of situations that Brentford haven't really had that many in the whole game, right on the touchline, but only sort of 25 yards out. The right ball comes in. It's going to be very difficult for Aaron Ramsdale if they get a flick on to try and save this.
So this free kick will be taken out by the right-hand touchline. 2 Brentford players standing over him. There's a left-footed in-swinging delivery from Mbomo. Collins was the target, headed away by the Arsenal back line before it got there. Ball goes outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. Visser lays it back for Roslev. Right-footed curving ball in from him. Nice shape on that. Again, Arsenal with first contact can get it away. And now it goes out towards the Brentford right-hand side again, played forward. And Vitaly Janelt will be able to get there first. Takes it away from Nelson, lays it back. Not a high ball in. Collins is still forward. That one volleyed away by Ben White from inside his own box. And Roslev chases after it on halfway. He gets there ahead of Sago Jr. and lays it back for his goalkeeper. Long ball forward comes from Flecken. A crowd of just a shade over 16,500 here tonight. 1,700 travelling Arsenal fans. Visser getting to the byline, pulls the ball back into the 6-yard box, and it's given away by Gabriel. Straight back for Visser again. Right-footed, clipped in, and a right-footed volley missed by Onyeka. Raced onto it on the edge of the penalty area, and he tried to smack it with all that it was worth, and he basically just flicked off the toe of his boot and dribbles out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what number Onyeka would be if Brentford fans or even Thomas Frank were wanting to choose a half volley that cross has come in. But just before that, Visser does really well. He gets in front of Gabriel, who doesn't realise how quickly Visser gets up, and there was a bit of contact, and if it had gone down, I'll tell you what, that would have been a question for the referee whether they're given a penalty or not.
But it remains 12 minutes into the second half, 1-0 to the Arsenal. And they've led for 50 minutes now after Reece Nelson gave them the lead. Brentford just slowly beginning to build up a head of steam.
Absolutely, that's what they're doing just in the last 5 or so minutes. Arsenal not been able to get on the ball as much, and Brentford just starting to apply a bit more pressure, and the fans responding to that.
Oh, Hickey, it's a great run. And first touch a wee bit heavy as he took it past Ben White, but Tomiyasu could clear before he got to Visser. Arsenal get it forward towards halfway. Pinnock's in a little bit too strongly. It's fouled Nketiah. And it's going to be an Arsenal free kick on halfway. These are the scores at the moment. Villa 0, Everton 2, Blackburn 4, Cardiff 2, Bournemouth 2, Stoke 0, Chelsea 1, Brighton 0, Fulham 1, Norwich 0, West Ham being held 0-0 at Lincoln, and Liverpool being held at home by Leicester, but they trailed for 45 minutes in that game. That's 1-1, and it continues for you live right now on Talksport 2. Arsenal in action, of course, at the weekend. They go to Bournemouth, and that one is live on Talksport. Exclusive for national radio. You won't hear it anywhere else. Part of a double bill of live Premier League action for you at the weekend. Villa Brighton and then Arsenal Bournemouth kicking off at 12:30 and 3 o'clock respectively this Saturday on Talksport and on Talksport 2. All the Ryder Cup action you could want from 6 a.m. Friday. 14 gone second half, and it's 1-0 to Arsenal, as it has been for so long now. Collins will clear it out towards the far touchline for Mbeumo. Arsenal have won it back. Reece Nelson pirouetting, did a full 360 and then another. One good turn deserves another. He's back for Jorginho. And now down to the edge of the centre circle for Gabriel. Quickly to Tomiyasu, forward for White. White dragging the ball back inside away from Hickey. Tomiyasu's got it again. A long left-footed, lofted pass out towards the far touchline, which is chested down neatly by Nelson. Nelson working it in towards Kai Havertz. A little bit slow in getting there, and Brentford bring it away. And trying to set up Mbeumo again, isolated against Gabriel. That seems to be the forward option that they most fancy. They just haven't been able to exploit Gabriel so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gabriel was very clever there because he realises in a straight race, if they both start in the same place, then Mbeumo's got the pace of him. So he just dropped off an extra couple of yards. That's really top-class defending.
Well, Tomiyasu's done well there. It's a clever touch with the studs of his right boot to roll it square for White. And Ben White brings it forward. We've played an hour. 1-0 to Arsenal. Jim Bradford and Scott Minto, the former Chelsea West Ham defender, talking through the action from West London. With Jorginho in possession for the Gunners. To his right-hand side is Ben White. It's a fixture that Arsenal won very handily last season, early in the campaign. About this time last year, they won 3-0 here. Very, very impressive performance that day. White forward for Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah with a left-footed shot, but it hit Pinnock almost at the point of contact, and then Norgard will hoist it forward, and another counter-attacking opportunity is Brentford's, and it's played in by Mbeumo, but this time Gabriel could slide in and get it away before it found Wissa.
It's what they're looking for, that ball over the top, 2-on-2, and Gabriel again just about was able to make that interception, otherwise Wissa would be in. But it's started to be a really good game now. In the first half, Arsenal really were in second gear. Now Brentford have stepped it up, the fans have too. And tell you what, they look dangerous on the counter now.
Brentford are going to make a double change in a moment. Jensen and Godos are the two players who are going to be coming on for them. Jorginho to White. Played for by Ben White for Charles Sago Jr. And Sago Jr. working it for Pinnock, though. Getting between Nketiah and the ball. Back for his goalkeeper, Flecken. Flecken playing it out. Roycev Collins, I beg your pardon, turning it through the midfield to Janelt. Janelt forced to retrace his steps back to his goalkeeper. And then a little touch from Jensen through the midfield for Onyeka. Brentford's turn to string the passes together and play neat, crisp, 8-10-yard balls into feet, making Arsenal do some running. And Collins will play it forward for Janelt. Janelt out to the Brentford right-hand side. A bit more space for Mesroslev here. Forward from him from Mbeumo. Mbeumo to Hickey. And Hickey's got space himself. Edge of the area. Aaron Hickey. Right-footed effort. It hit Ben White, I think, and loops up inside the penalty area and then it's cleared. Goes out of play for a Brentford throw. That was a great Brentford
Brilliant.
move.
Brilliant. It was almost like as good as Arsenal were in the first half, the way they passed it from left to right, then right to left. And I'm not sure I'd be making substitutions now, because far be it from me to tell Thomas Frank what he should be doing, but this is probably Brentford's best part of the whole game. They're on top at the moment. I wouldn't make any substitutions for another 5 or 10 minutes and just see how things develop. But really good play there from the home side.
So Roslev and Norgard are the players that are coming off. Jensen and Godos replacing. Now Godos came on very briefly for his first appearance of the season as a left wing back against Everton. So I don't know whether he will play in that role and they'll move Hickey back to the right. The other swap, a straight swap, Jensen for Norgard in the heart of midfield. He's got the captain's armband as well. 18 minutes gone, second half. And it's still 1-0 to Arsenal. Throw to be taken on the Brentford right-hand side. An arch of the back. Long ball hurled inside the penalty area by Jensen. Half cleared. Right-footed. Brilliant heading clearance. to get it away from Ben White. Really well struck, and White was brave, thought that he might end up having to wear it for a moment, but he did get the top of his head to it to clear. Really good strike. Brentford will come again. Played for by Jensen. Jensen tried to take it on after it's come off the top of his head, but Arsenal can just get a foot on the ball and calm things down with Jorginho.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Brentford, best part of the game so far for them. They really feel they can get back in it now. Arsenal have been bossing it for certainly for the most of the first half and a lot of the second, but now Brentford have come back in. There's only one goal in it, and they believe they can take this at the very least to penalties.
There's a really good strike by Godos, who was released in the summer and then got a fresh one-year deal. Re-signing for the club. Play forward towards Wissa. Wissa, good ball from him. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Godos back for Wissa. That one blocked by Tomiyasu. But it's all Brentford now. For the first time in the game, you can hear from the level, the volume of the support behind us. With Brentford on top. The last 5 minutes have easily been their best of the night. Still they're behind. I wouldn't say that Arsenal are hanging on by any stretch of the imagination, but there are stiffer defensive examinations than they've had up till now. Another long throw inside the penalty area from Jensen. Heads go up for it. The top of Tomiyasu's head. Havertz can help it further away. Dink back inside the penalty area. Wissa! Off the post! Donovan Ramsdale got a slight hand to it to chip it onto the post. If he did, it is an outstanding save. Really good piece of goalkeeping. Wissa right-footed, Ramsdale falling backwards, stretched out a left hand, didn't get much on it, but he got enough on it. Tipped it onto the inside of the post, and it broke to safety for Arsenal. Wissa taking it on again here now for the Bees. Square to his right-hand side. An acrobatic attempt didn't come off. But they've still got it with Jensen. Jensen through the legs of Jorginho, but Ben White's there again to be able to clear. Pinnock climbing high. Down for Sanke Jørgensen. He plays it out of the Brentford left-hand side for Janelt. Janelt to Jensen. Good run in behind Ben White. Flashing across the edge of the 6-yard box. Wissa can't get a decent contact. Arsenal hack it away. Anywhere will do for the Gunners, who are really under the cosh.
Well, 2 minutes ago, Jim, you said it's not that they're hanging on, and you were right. They are now. There's been a couple of really good opportunities from Brentford.
And you're right. They are hanging on. Hickey, ball played in. Jørgensen's cross, not the best. Arsenal, of course, with an omnipresent threat on the counter-attack now. The Brentford are flooding bodies forward, and Nketiah is quick. But he didn't have the starting position that Pinnock did that time, and Ethan Pinnock's able to get it back. Arsenal are going to make a double change, and Gabriel Jesus and Oleg Zinchenko both won this competition twice. They're going to be coming on for Arsenal at the next break in play. It's 1-0 to the Gunners, and after a slightly tepid first half at times, second half's been outstanding.
It has. I'm not surprised at all to see these substitutions from Arsenal. It's about getting experience on the pitch, because the game's just coming away from the away side at the moment, where they were so much in control, and going all the way back now. I think it was a save from Aaron Ramsdale. We've still not been able to see a replay ourselves, but I think he got a good touch. Good enough where it was going in and tipped it onto the post. So if that was a save, I'll tell you what, that has kept them in the game so far.
Jensen's going to get a yellow card for a foul about 15 yards outside the penalty area. He's made a real difference since coming on. Not just the fact that he's got this excellent long throw, and we've seen that 3 or 4 times, but he's just got things ticking over with a little bit more tempo in the midfield.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, if you look at the 11 as well that he picked, Thomas Frank, Jensen's the only one where you can say, well, perhaps he should be in the side. And I'm just looking at the replay now, and I still couldn't quite see that, Jim, could you? Whether he got a touch or not? I think he did, Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. And a vital save it was as well. Deadlock broken nearly everywhere, and it's just been broken at St James's Park. Steve Harmison.
Newcastle 1, Manchester City 0, and it's Alexander Isak with the goal. Great work from Jacob Murphy. Good turn and pass to Joe Linton. Joe Linton runs across the 18-yard box, gets the byline, flashes across goal, and Alexander Isak there at the back post to tap it into the empty net. Much better from Newcastle in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Rewarded with a goal. Newcastle 1, Man City 0.
Isak's 4th of the season for a Newcastle side who've kept 3 clean sheets in a row. Are they going to be knocking Manchester City, they've won 6 in a row in all competitions, out of the competition. Newcastle leading Manchester City by a goal to nil. We're just past the midway stage of the second half. A double change for Arsenal sees White and Sago Jr. withdrawn for Zinchenko and Jesus. And they've shuffled things around defensively. Zinchenko coming on at left back, and everybody else has shifted across. So Tomiyasu's now at right back, and Gabriel partnering Kivior in the heart of the defence.
Yeah, makes sense. As I say, it's about getting experience on there now. Calm heads, cool heads, ones that can actually get on the ball, and Zinchenko can certainly do that. Tomiyasu, we know, can play as a right back. And you know what? It was a decent debut there from Sago Jr., but now it's about seeing the game out. And yeah, you've got to bring on the likes of Gabriel Jesus. This is why they're on the bench in the first place.
Here's Tomiyasu. Play back towards Kivior. Another goal at Ewood Park, Matt Jones.
Would you believe it? A 3-goal cushion now for Blackburn. Blackburn 5, Cardiff 2. And it's Dylan Markande who's got it. It had been coming from him. He's missed a couple of chances, caused no end of problem down the right. And he breaks into the box and slots home via the far post. Blackburn 5, Cardiff 2.
8 at Harrogate in the last round, 5 tonight. Here come Arsenal on the counter. Kai Havertz left-hand side of the air behind, and Nketiah. Nelson! Wide. Not far wide, but it's a great chance. Arsenal could have put it to bed.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gabriel Jesus has gone to the left and Reece Nelson's come to the right. It was a really good counter-attack. We're saying about we want to see more of Kai Havertz. He makes a really good run in the channel down the left-hand side, looks up, plays it in behind Nketiah, but Reece Nelson's coming onto it. He's really unlucky. He plays it with his left foot, and because of that, it's kind of curling away from the goal. If he could have somehow shaped his body and done it at the right and come inside, then maybe it would have gone the other side of the post. But Arsenal's so close there. This game now, Jim, I'll tell you what, I've no idea which way it's going to go.
Liverpool lead Leicester live in our game over on Talksport 2. Yet another game this season in which they've gone 1-0 down and may well end up winning. I think this will be the 5th in all competitions that they will have trailed in and possibly end up winning. Still 20 minutes to go, but Dominic Szoboszlai has given the Reds the lead after Cody Gakpo equalised the early goal from Casey McAteer. 2-1 to Liverpool. It's live for you right now over on Talksport 2. Brentford win it back. Arsenal giving it away on the edge of the penalty area, and a left-footed effort placed over the bar by Janelt. A more than half chance. Zinchenko offers a right-handed apology. He's mightily relieved.
Wow, we talked about the experience coming on and cool heads wanting to try and keep the ball, and it's Zinchenko who gives the ball away, and it's a pass inside, and again, that's another opportunity for Brentford. It's right in front of goal, laid off by Visser. He's got to do better there, got to hit the target. It's gone way over.
It remains 1-0. Not sure how, after the flurries of goal-scoring action we've seen in this second half, there has been only the one goal. The deadlock has been broken at Lincoln. Here's Talksport's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Lincoln 0, West Ham United 1. Goal coming from a corner. Benrahma whipped it in near post. There was Thomas Souček, got the touch on it, and it went in the back of the net. Lincoln 0, West Ham 1.
And a goal at Fulham for Dave Rowe.
2 at Norwich 0. Alex Iwobi scoring on his first half for the club. Norwich playing out from the back and made a mess of it. It was picked up by Vinicius, combining with Wilson, laid it back. Iwobi into the bottom corner. That should be a Fulham throw. Fulham 2, Norwich 0.
Onyeka spurning the opportunity to get Brentford going. A 3 against 2 counter-attack. His touch was heavy. Arsenal won it back. Nicholas Jackson's had the ball in the net for Chelsea. It's been disallowed. It remains 1-0 there. Here's Tomiyasu. 1-0 here in Arsenal's favour. Smith Rowe to Jorginho. Really watchable second half this. Zinchenko forward out towards the left-hand touchline where Gabriel Jesus is waiting. It's interesting that last season when Jesus and Nketiah played together, it was Nketiah wide and Jesus through the middle, but as we saw at the weekend in the North London derby, it's this way round. Jesus offering the width and Nketiah very much the number 9 now.
This is better, Jim. Jesus is used to sort of maybe not being necessarily the number 9, but can certainly come from the inside off the wing. And I think Nketiah leads the line really well. I talked about how he's so much impressed me this evening, and he has this season. As I say, he's just that little bit short of being that striker that can take Arsenal, I think, at the moment to the title. But his game has come on so much. So with him being the centre forwards and Jesus coming in off the left, I think that suits Arsenal better.
Hickey's in possession here for Brentford. 73 minutes gone. Brentford 0, Arsenal 1. The Bees will feel that they're worthy of parity after an impressive 10-15 minute spell that they've had, and They've just needlessly given a free kick away there. Nelson trying to shepherd the ball over the line and out of play for an Arsenal throw, and Frank Onyeka has shoved him in the back, just a little bit over exuberant, and has pushed him to the ground. The possession's completely changed, Scott.
Absolutely, 64% to Brentford in the second half, and 8 attempts to 3, so you wouldn't have thought that at half-time, would you?
That's almost a mirror image, really, of what we saw in the first half, certainly in terms of possession, and Brentford with more shots in this second than Arsenal managed in the first.
I'm not surprised Brentford have had more attempts, but the fact that they've had much more possession as well goes to show how much they've put Arsenal on the back foot, and Arsenal haven't been able to keep the ball in the second half.
Zinchenko rolling it down the line, Havertz feathering it into the path of Jesus. Good run ahead of him from Nketiah. Got the shot in when he seemed second favourite to get there, but Flecken can make a save at his near post.
He deserves a goal. I think he's been superb tonight, I really do. The way he's just dropped off, and then he's rammed the channels as well. It was a good ball inside. Jesus just plays it. You don't think he's going to get there. Thought Pinnacle's going to get there first, but somehow he stretches the leg. And it's a decent save in the end from Flecken.
Tomiyasu lets the ball run out of play. It's going to be an Arsenal throw. Another goal at Craven Cottage, Dave.
Fulham 2, Norwich 1. Norwich back in the game, and Borja Sainz, who's just come on for his first appearance for Norwich, has got the goal after really good play by Jonathan Rowe, a fellow substitute. He got free, played it through, and Sainz very fast turn and shot in the penalty area to beat Mike Rodak. Norwich back in the game. Fulham 2, Norwich 1.
Nketiah, Jorginho looking for the run of Jesus, knocked away, and Brentford will be able to bring it forward. 15 minutes to go. St Mirren have found an equaliser at Hibs in the League Cup quarter-final north of the border. That one's 2-2. And the ball over on the Brentford right-hand side, and Burmo. High cross comes in. A little bit too high for those waiting for it. Onyeka watches it sail over his shoulder. Hickey trying to win a throw off Nelson, who's defended well, and it hits Hickey and goes out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Ramsdale with 15 minutes to go.
Tell you what, still don't know which way it is going to go, and that's a lot of credit to Brentford, the way they've come out in this second half and bossed it. They've bossed it in the way that Arsenal bossed it in the first half. I think this is probably about a 3-2 game to Arsenal at the moment. Don't quite know how there's only one goal in it, but it's been a really good second half. First half, Arsenal in control and dictating the tempo of it, not in the second.
You're with Talksport, your Ryder Cup station. We've got the Ryder Cup for you from Friday, 6 a.m. on Talksport 2. And here on Talksport tomorrow, let me remind you, Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist, they've got up to a fair bit in the past, but the Marco Golf and Country Club for the Ryder Cup in Rome, who signed that off precisely?
I don't think it can last till Sunday, I think.
Thursday breakfast, Friday breakfast. Join all the fun tomorrow morning. The only thing is the time difference means that it's a 7 o'clock start for them. The ball towards Onyeka. Onyeka, right-footed, good save. Ramsdale been disappointed. That one got past him, dived to his left, beat it away. Not nearly as good as the earlier save from Johan Wissa, but an important one nevertheless, and it goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Brentford right. They're going to be bringing Lewis Potter, Kigby on very shortly. So another double change imminent, and a couple of attacking options going to be introduced. 13 to go, and another long Jensen throw to come inside that Arsenal penalty area. Hurls it in. Even more air underneath this one. Easier to clear. Through a crowd of players. Tomiyasu blocks the shot from the edge of the area from Godos. Now it comes down to him again. The Iranian flicking into his right-hand side. And Burmo trying to tease his way forward. Hickey will take over. Out it goes for Jensen once more. That long throw really is a very potent weapon for Brentford. Arsenal have repelled the threat so far. Another ball inside the area. Offside up. Flag up against Ross. Pudding doesn't count. Flag up good and early. No VAR, remember, so no inspection or anything. You know straight away the goal has been chalked off, and it remains Brentford 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, it came up early, Jim, didn't it? And you saw it straight away. And the fans obviously saw the ball in the back of the net, but the fact is the referee's assistant definitely put the ball. I'll tell you what, the cross comes in, and he is offside. It's a good decision. But Brentford just got to keep on going, keep on doing what they're doing. They hung in there in the first half. I said if Arsenal had got the second, then I didn't see Brentford coming back into it. But all the while, they're only one goal behind. They had that belief. Second half, they've come out. They've done really well. And they definitely deserve to score. Can they get there and take it to penalties?
So Hickey is off, Onyeka off. Lewis Potter has come on, and Michael Olakigbe, the 19-year-old wing, has come off the bench in the last couple of home games, and he gets another little cameo here with 11 minutes of normal time remaining. Ross County 0, Aberdeen 2. Esther Sokler scoring that goal for the Dons. Looks as though they're going through. Ross County down to 10 men in that game, have been for most of the game. Rangers still ahead in theirs against Livingston. The other one north of the border, all square at 2-2. In the League Cup, Everton 2 up at Villa, Blackburn 5, Cardiff 2, Bournemouth 2, Stoke 0, 1-0 Arsenal here, 1-0 to Chelsea, 2-1 to Fulham at home to Norwich, 1-0 West Ham lead at Lincoln, Liverpool 2, Leicester 1, and Newcastle 1, Manchester City 0. Hibs 3-2 up against St Mirren. They've taken the lead again in that topsy-turvy game. Double Arsenal change imminent. The ball thrown inside the area by Jensen, and Burmo trying his luck. A right-footed effort flies down towards the corner flag and goes out of play for an Arsenal throw.
I'm not quite sure what he was thinking of there, but they are piling the pressure on now, Brentford. And again, Arsenal aside, that they're kind of on the ropes, but they're protecting themselves well. It's not been clear-cut chances, and Aaron Ramsdale's made a couple of really good saves. One in particular, world-class save.
Arsenal about to bring Martin Ødegaard on. Well, the captain will be introduced with 10 minutes to go. El Neni coming on as well. Brentford winning it back. Brian and Burmo driving inside the Arsenal penalty area. Jorginho with a very well-timed extension of the left foot, can just get it away. And then Havertz down towards Reece Nelson as Arsenal bring it forward. Nelson within 15 yards of the edge of the penalty area. Smith Rowe just slows things down for a moment, but Brentford have regained their shape. There was no harm in him doing that from an Arsenal perspective. Smith Rowe to Zinchenko, out to the Gunners left once more. 9 to go. 1-0 Arsenal lead with Ødegaard and El Neni about to come on. The ball has gone out of play for a throw that Zinchenko will take. Zinchenko into the chest of Nketiah. Nketiah being wrestled and fouled, and Arsenal have a free kick and now will be able to make that change. So El Neni will come on. He played in the Gunners 3-1 win against Brentford at this stage of the competition 5 years ago. And Ødegaard coming on as well. Nelson and Smith Rowe, the players who make one.
Yeah, basically, one, they're trying to slow the game down, but two, they're trying to keep the ball. We know El Neni, the way position he plays, and also Ødegaard, how technically brilliant he is. It's about trying to see this game out. That's the right decision for Mikel Arteta. Very much on the back foot in this second half, especially in the last 20 minutes or so. Now it's the question of holding out and getting through to the next round, because if they concede here and it goes to penalties, you get the feeling the momentum would be with the home side.
And the home side are making their final change. Christopher Ajer is coming on to replace Zanke Jørgensen. Ajer on for the 300th game of his club career, the Norwegian international. That's a decent tally for a 25-year-old. And he's on just to add a little bit more aerial presence at both ends. He'll be certainly a target for the Jensen long throws, which I'm sure we'll see a few more yet. 8 minutes left, and Arsenal's number 8 will take this free kick. Ødegaard, left-footed, bent inside the box, straight into the hands of Flekken, whose first thought, having caught it, is to get Brentford going out quickly, and he's bowled it down for the Bees record signing Keane Lewis Potter. 4 from him, gets a return ball, gets away from Tomiyasu. Good 1-2 between Lewis Potter and Olakigbe, and the teenager trying to turn and get himself into a position that he can get across, and he can't quite, but certainly brave and adventurous from Michael Olakigbe there, trying to get the better of Jorginho. El Neni's going to be able to get it away. Fired just over the head of Gabriel Jesus, and all the way through for Mark Flekken.
Tell you what, really exciting playing, and all credit to the home side here. It looked like, in terms of the first half, 1-0, but really Arsenal in full control. And you just wonder, can they get that equaliser?
Rangers 2, Livingston 0. With Yilmaz scoring the second for Mick Beale's man. Christopher Ajer curving a ball with the outside of the right boot. That really is a beautiful pass out to the Brentford right-hand side. Cross comes inside the area. It's a chance. Lewis Potter! And a brilliant sliding challenge denies him. He got it onto his left foot, fired it in towards goal. And Kivior has come in from nowhere, slid it on the line. The ball hits him and ends up in the hands of Ramsdale.
Oh, really good play from Brentford, from left to right, right to left. I'm actually not quite sure if it was going in, but Kivior doesn't know that at all. He gets on the line, makes the clearance. And I tell you what, if that is going in, that is as good as a goal. That stops penalties.
Ramsdale knows that he can't come out for this. It's going to fall Whistler's way on the edge of the box, onto his right foot. Went for the top right-hand corner, cut across it, misses.
I tell you what, they have got the Arsenal back four on toast now. They really have. It's far too open. There's no protection for this back four. And Visser had another chance. He's got the pace on all of them. And he cuts inside. And he's just got to have that little bit of composure. Still needs to be a very good strike to beat Ramsdale from there. But again, you've got to hit the target. He doesn't. What we got? 5.5 minutes plus injury time. Still don't know which way it's going to go.
Yes, probably about 10 minutes of playing time to go, and it's still 1-0 to Arsenal. There's been a goal at Villa, who are back in it, Alex Crook.
A lifeline for the hosts. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2. Boubacar Kamara has fired in a deflected shot from the edge of the area after Everton failed to deal with a corner. Villa have 6 minutes to save themselves. Aston Villa 1, Everton 2.
5 minutes for Brentford to save themselves, plus stoppage time. They trail 1-0. They've done everything but score in the last 25 minutes. Zinchenko for Arsenal. Square to his right-hand side for El Neni. Now Jorginho can bring it for Arsenal, who are happy just to get a touch of the ball in Brentford territory. There haven't been too many of those in the last 10 minutes.
No, they're just trying to slow it down now, Arsenal. And if they have to go back to Aaron Ramsdale, which is what they're doing, then so be it. But you've got to give credit to Brentford. As I say, Arsenal was superb in the first half, controlling the tempo of the game. Very much on the back foot in the second.
Now El Neni getting it forward. Eddie Nketiah. Out towards Zinchenko. Zinchenko left-hand side of the penalty area for Arsenal. Goes back for El Neni. Urged to shoot. He does! Fires it wide of the near post. Flecken diving at full stretch. That indicates that it was pretty close, but it just kissed the side netting on its way past. Out of play for a Brentford goal kick.
Well, that's what they have to do, Arsenal. They have to keep the ball, go back to dictating the tempo themselves. Went all the way back to Aaron Ramsdale and then just went through the lines. And in the end, it was a shot from El Neni. Flecken dived, but it was a good 2 or 3 yards wide.
To indicate how the game is poised, Arsenal are taking off a striker and bringing on a fullback. Cedric on for Nketiah with 4 to go.
Says everything, doesn't it? When you look at the substitutions, the subs that have come on, Odegaard, Jesus, Zinchenko, you know, even El Neni as well. They're all sort of ball players who feel and experienced players as well. He wouldn't have wanted to do this, Mikel Arteta, but I think it goes to show how good Brentford have been in the last 25 minutes.
So Cedric coming on. He's played in the final of this competition in the past in his Southampton days. Eddie Nketiah comes off. But he's had another good night. No goal for him tonight, which is a rarity in the League Cup, such as his goal-scoring record. But
he's been superb, Jim. I've been really impressed with his play, and he's deserved the goal.
Brentford play back inside their own half. Collins facing his own goal, can just tap it left-footed back to Flecken. Flecken chips it back out to the Irishman, who controls it. He's going to go back again. But now Flecken's got more time to be able to take a touch so that he can go long. And Arsenal are holding a high line. They're back 5 as it is now. With Cedric playing at right back, Tomiyasu now playing on the right of 3 centre halves. Kivior in the middle, Gabriel on the left of the 3, Zinchenko at left back. It's a 5-3-2 formation for Arsenal, as they've been facing for much of the night. They've now adopted it themselves. Collins back for Pinnock. 2 minutes of normal time to go. Arsenal fans still know that they're not there yet. Cross-field ball from Pinnock evades its target and drifts out of play for a throw, which will be taken over on the Arsenal left-hand side. And again, in no hurry to take that throw. It's played short eventually to El Neni by Zinchenko. Headed on by Collins. Collins back for Pinnock. Now Pinnock back to his goalkeeper. Lots to react to tonight. 03717223344 gets you through to the sports bar where Adam Catterall and Jermaine Pennant will be taking your calls, and we'll hear the draw for the next round as well. Brentford taking it on inside the box. Great defending Tomiyasu. Wissa still got it after Tomiyasu just played it away from him. Now it comes in right-footed, a little bit too deep. It's come off an Arsenal head, so we'll go out of play for a Brentford throw. Hugh Jensen.
And these throws are as good as corners, aren't they? So again, what we've got, 1 minute plus injury time. It's going to be fascinating to see how many minutes will be played. If it's more than 5 or 6, then the fans, I'm sure there'll be a big cheer around here.
Jensen's got the ball in his hand. He's dried it on his red and white shirt. 3-4 steps forward, hurled in towards the near post. Right by that near post, it takes a touch off one head, comes back out towards Mbermo. He can't get into a shooting position. Arsenal gathered away, and it's Cedric leading the counter-attack, but he ran down a blind alley. Jensen's come back to win it back, and Owen Kigby lays it back for Lewis Potter, who tracked back very quickly and just found himself at centre-half for a moment. In most unlikely circumstances. He goes back for Flecken. We're in the 90th minute. It's Brentford 0. Arsenal 1. There was late drama in the last round for Brentford with the goals late on at either end. They got past Newport County on penalties with the young debutant goalkeeper Ellery Bolcombe the hero. Can they get another penalty shootout here? Arsenal calming things down in the midfield. Jesus, Zinchenko, back for Ødegaard. Ødegaard to El Neni. El Neni back inside his own penalty area. Gabriel will get it away. High ball forward from him. Well headed away by Collins. All eyes on the fourth official. Scott, you caught it right. 5 extra minutes. Brentford bring it forward. Gabriel slams it high up in the air. Havertz almost able to bring it down under control. But he lost out to Aya, and Brentford will turn and they will be able to get it forward. Live over on Talksport 2 right now. Liverpool seemingly going through 3-1 up against Leicester. Diogo Jota has added the one that surely seals it. His third of the season after Gakpo and Szoboszlai had cancelled out Casey McAteer's early goal. 3-1 Liverpool lead there. So as things stand right now, Everton, Blackburn, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham, West Ham and Liverpool are going through, and there won't be a single shootout. Newcastle leading Man City, 15 to go in that one. Here's Lewis Potter trying to help it forward. Ola Kigby will pick it up. It's been lively since coming on, but Ødegaard has come back and dispossessed him. Tomiyasu working it forward. Havertz is going to give chase. Pinnock is there. Former Dulwich Hamilton Forest Green man. Havertz getting it forward. El Neni, Jesus. It's Ødegaard let fly, and it's hit Collins and spins away for Arsenal's first corner of the second half.
Well, we talk about how good Brentford have been on the counter-attack in this second half. That was really good counter-attack play from Arsenal there. Good run from Kai Havertz in behind, and then just between El Neni, Jesus and Martin Ødegaard, shot deflected, and they will take their time with this.
Jesus will go across to take it right in front of that pocket of 1,700 travelling Arsenal supporters. They sold out their allocation quite clearly. Corner taken short. Jesus to Havertz. The ball stationary down on the corner quadrant. Arsenal have actually done well to make something happen there. Ødegaard playing it inside the box. Collins will get it away. He's given it away to El Neni. He's chipped it in. Cedric attacking it, and Aya chests it. The goalkeeper tries to stop it going out of play for a corner and kept it in. Presented it straight to Cedric. Cedric chips it in. El Neni heads it down. Brentford can bring it away. 2.5 minutes to go. Long ball forward from Jensen. Straight out of play, and Brentford fast running out of time now.
Well, I have to say, as good as Brentford have been in this second half, and especially the last 20-25 minutes, just in the last few minutes, Arsenal have wrestled a bit more control of this game. They've been able to keep the ball better, they've been able to counter-attack better, and just in the last few minutes, as I say, Brentford not been able to play with the kind of tempo that they had been before then in creating chances.
A couple of late goals for Hibs. Martin Boyle, they lead St Mirren 4-2 at Easter Road. It'll be St Mirren's first defeat in 11. They're going out. Rangers going through. They're 2-0 up. Aberdeen 2-1 up now against the 10-man of Ross County. High ball down the Brentford left-hand side. Ola Kigby chasing. A big claim from the Brentford fans, possibly that there was a hand from Tomiyasu. Everyone's coming forward, including Mark Flecken. So it's going to be a Jensen throw, and everybody is forward. 90 seconds to go. Flecken in there. Never scored a goal in his career, unsurprisingly. Is this his moment to endear himself to the Brentford support? Long throw inside the penalty area from Jensen, looking for the near post flick. High up in the air, Flecken is in there, back in from Wissa. And his header goes into the hands of Ramsdale. Flecken turning, sprinting, getting back as quick as he can. I think completely oblivious to the fact that Ramsdale's still lying with the ball in his hands inside the 6-yard box at the other end.
Yeah, and Ramsdale didn't even look at Gabriel Jesus, who was actually ahead of any other Brentford player. If he'd have tried to ping that down the middle, then it may have been a goal, but Ramsdale just doing the right thing, trying to take the sting out of the game.
We're in the 5th and final minute of added time. Ramsdale whacks it from one end to the other. Flecken picks it up, bowls it out. Ayer tries to play it forward. Good covering from Ødegaard. Goes out of play for a throw. Throw that Ayer has taken quickly back for Pinnock. He's got it again, Ethan Pinnock, on the edge of his own penalty area. 30 seconds left. Can Brentford create one last opportunity? Arsenal again, keeping a high line. Tomiyasu volleys Flecken's ball away. And it bounces back in Brentford territory. Pinnock on the end of that. Fall from him to Jensen. Jensen on halfway. 10 seconds left. Jensen, high ball clip forward. Wissa wasn't too sure where it was. Gabriel watching, heads it clear. Time just about for one last throw. Taken short actually towards Jensen. Jensen's right-footed ball bent inside the penalty area. Headed down. Acrobatic attempt is missed. Left-footed volley. Hits the bar, but the flag was already up. There was frustration from the Brentford players and the Brentford coaching staff because they felt that should be a long throw coming in. There's no time to take the free kick for the offside because the full-time whistle has gone, and Arsenal have done it. First half completely dominant. Reece Nelson's 8th-minute goal gave them the lead. Second half, Brentford the better team. A pulsating cup tie, but Mikel Arteta's men have through to the last 16. They've won 1-0 at Brentford.
Well, Arsenal will make it through. Brentford's are out here at St James Park. We're into the final 10 minutes of the 90, and Newcastle lead by a 1-0. We'll talk to Scott Minto at Brentford very shortly, but we've got full time at Lincoln. Mark Wilson.
Yeah, and it ended here. Lincoln 0, West Ham United 1. Souček's goal from a corner, scruffy effort, but they all count with 20 minutes left was the decider. Maybe the biggest moment of the first half was Fabianski's world-class save to deny Hackett's close-range header. Lincoln were brilliant for the first 45, but second half West Ham just overpowered them. Lincoln 0, West Ham 1.
And it's full time at Fulham as well. Dave Rowe.
Fulham 2, Norwich 1. Fulham through, although they did make rather hard work of it towards the end. The home side in front on 12 minutes through Carlos Vinicius, finished off at close range from a header